thoroughly stretched. Thoroughly stretched. Okay, what do I need to do? Did I update category? I did. Perfect. Need to move window over there. And I need to turn desktop audio down. Look at me. Me from 2 years ago would marvel at just how good I am at switching everything. And I say that as sort of a joke. Okay. Also, I still make mistakes constantly with setup, so who am I even kidding, right? I feel like, as I get this loaded up here, I feel like I say this probably about once a year around this time of the year, where we get to the end of the year. I was thinking about this recently. I'm definitely the type of person that when the holiday season starts approaching, basically the last 2 months, basically, mostly due to my own doing, which I'm fully willing to admit, I get into like a seasonal funk. I don't know how many people are like me exactly. Well, I know seasonal funks. Holidays very much are a time where it's very highly stressed that you're supposed to. It's time you're spending with family and all that. And as I was mentioning, like I always do, especially my own circumstances and my own doings, I fully admit that like I don't really spend holidays with family and stuff. And I don't think that's the only factor, but it's a contributing factor to the just like end of year blues that just kind of hit me and impact me. And then you get slightly depresso, or at least I do, about certain things. And again, not just the family thing, but a lot of things. And it's been dope that, not to sound corny or anything, but that these streams, especially at the end of the year, I can kind of like, it allows me easily to take my mind off of stuff like that. But I always bring it up because on the off chance that my dumb little streams bring you any enjoyment during especially this any time of year, but especially this time of year, if you are slightly like me at all, and have suffer from seasonal funks like I do, maybe a little if I ever term feeling a little sad around these times of years, like I said, hopefully again at the extreme risk of sounding corny, if my stupid streams ease any of that, then I'm glad that they're there and available. I don't know, I was just thinking about it. Well, I was thinking about it this past week, especially because it kind of hits in waves, I feel like. And like I said, it's got to be like, without a shadow of doubt, it's always this time of year. I blame the holidays. I blame the weather, even though I like it a lot more than any kind of hot weather that I normally have to deal with. I blame a lot of things. Sorry, I'm delaying because I'm trying to make sure I do something here. Okay. I got my notebook. Let me open it up. It's not going to be of much use if it's closed, yeah? Perfect. All right, so we're just continuing on. We have more. By my count, we've done what? 22? 22 of 50? So by the end of the night, we should definitely be past the 50% mark, I would say. We hit a little bit of a snag. I don't think it was last stream, really. It was stream before. Had problems clicking on the right fragments. I think since the last Higurashi stream, there was a comment that on YouTube that explained, like, the thing that I had made such a big fuck up on was, like, explained at the very beginning on one of the fragments we watched. And it was just something I must have glossed over. Especially because I was probably... If we go back and we rewatch where we started the fragment things, and that was the stream where I was so frazzled by, like, a lot of outside stuff, too, and then the game threw that at me, and I probably wasn't on my best mental state to be collecting a bunch of information. If I'm going to give myself a little bit of a break, a little bit of credit... I was going through some things that day, clearly. So we're all good. I've written down here fragments to next go to H170, Distrust of the Mother of a Queen, and the Third Sacrifice. So those must be where we go next. Distrust is results and truth about this. H17, discontinuation of the dissection, and Irie's mode to become a doctor. That all makes sense to me. And then we do this. I think what I said is we do this, and then this would then lead to this, because we get that. And then the third sacrifice is... something along those lines. Alright, I'm feeling good about this. Perfect. C10. Also, I'm warmed up now. You know, generally, especially on the Higurashi days, unless extenuating circumstance, I don't like to stream something before it, but I think it does, in a sense, warm me up. I'm ready. I'm rip-roaring for reading time. Let me move my keyboard over slightly. Here we go. C103's implementation on Satoko is going well so far. It wouldn't make any difference to me if the experiment failed. However, Irie's extraordinary focus and attention to the experiment has avoided Satoko Hojo hallucinating or turning into a vegetable during the experiment. And, surprisingly, we see prospects of her returning to normal life despite reaching L5. C103 still has many issues, but this experiment proved that even a person who has reached L5 can be cured. I didn't believe it at first, or believe in it at first, but I guess I have to acknowledge Irie's hard work. Only Irie could have done this. He was tormented by naive humanism and didn't want to make mistakes, and that's why he felt obligated to cure Satoko Hojo. The reason why I dislike Irie isn't because of his achievements or abilities, but because of that weakness. Oh, he's so weak. But this time, I had to praise him for it. Reporto, she said. I saw your report. I must tip my hat to you. No. I only did my job as a researcher. If that means fulfilling my duty as a doctor as well, then nothing could please me more. It's hardly an exaggeration to say that Satoko is now our most valuable specimen. After all, she's the first human to reach L5 and live. That's true. We'll let her go back to her life and keep our eyes on her. I'm going to tell her to come here every Sunday for a checkup.
C103 を日に3回も注射する義務と毎週日曜日に検査に訪れる義務を彼女にどう説明されるおつもりで?
But how are you going to explain to her that she has to give herself a C103 shot 3 times a day, and also that she has to come here every Sunday?
彼女には何の病気の自覚もないのに.
She has no subjective symptoms.
そこは今うまく納得してもらえる話を考えています。
I'm still trying to come up with a good excuse.
今考えているのは私の研究論文に 協力してもらうというものです。
I think I'll tell her that I want her to help me with my research.
栄養剤の注射を毎日してもらい、毎週日曜日にその効果を検査する。
She has to give herself shots daily and to come here every Sunday for a checkup.
その代わりに研究協力費としていくらかを支払うという感じです。
I'll pay her for helping me, or something like that. I guess Irie is determined to cure Satoko Hojo no matter what. He seems determined to keep her off the dissection table. He and I are in different positions, but I don't have any complaints about his naive ideals so long as they translate directly into passion for our research. If his plans can be put into effect and produce a different result than the dissection would, then they'll still be useful to the overall understanding of the Hinamazawa syndrome. I have nothing against Satoko Hojo. It's only that I see her as a research specimen. If she can be useful in that capacity without being dissected, it's perfectly fine with me.
日に3回もの注射となれば、これは本人だけでなく保護者の方の同意も不可欠です。
We have to get permission from her guardian to give her shots 3 times a day.
確かご両親が亡くなってからはおじ夫婦に親権が移っていましたね。
After her parents died, her aunt and uncle have been taking care of her, right?
そちらに一度相談に伺おうと思います。
Maybe I'll go talk to them.
メイへの怪しげな研究協力を承諾してもらえればいいのですが。
I hope they agree to her involvement in such suspicious research.
大丈夫ですわよ。
Oh, don't worry.
そのための研究協力費ですもの。月に10万か20万も振り込んでやれば大喜びしますわ。
I'm sure they'll be happy to, once they realize they'll receive 100,000 to 200,000 yen every month for it.
それだけの予算はありますか？
Do we have enough money?
もちろん、
Sure.
二郎さんを納得させる資料を作りさえすれば。
As long as we can produce documents that'll convince Jiro-san.
わかりました。それは私が作ります。
Okay, then I'll work on that.
あと、さとこちゃんに振動をかけないよう指導しておく必要もあります。
Also, we'll need to take action to prevent stressing Satoko-chan.
レベル5をぶり返すことになったら大変ですからね。
We don't want her to return to L5.
噂では、おじ夫婦はとても現金な方だとか。
I hear her aunt and uncle are very mercenary.
金銭で丸め込むのは可能かもしれません。
Perhaps we can handle them with cash.
それらの指導も私の方できっちり行うつもりです。
I plan to provide my help with their guidance too. I've heard Satoko-chan isn't getting along with her aunt and uncle. I never thought that'd affect us in any way. But now, Irie has to deal with them. Maybe he's developed some kind of sense of responsibility or duty as her guardian. I don't really care. The more responsible he feels, the more progress our research makes. That'll be a plus for me.
それはそうと。
By the way,
H17 丸番台についてのレポートを拝見しました。
I saw the report on H170.
ええ、
Oh?
入江所長の成果に比べれば足元にも及びませんが、一応の研究成果を出せましたわ。
Compared to your success, it's nothing, but I guess it was some kind of accomplishment.
本当に皮肉ですね。
It's honestly ironic.
彼女を錯乱から救う治療薬を作っていた研究所で、その傍らでは彼女を直ちに錯乱させる危険な薬が作られていたのですから。
The same research center that's produced the remedy to save her from derangement has developed a dangerous drug that could instantly induce it. Irie wasn't involved in the H170 research. That was my work. In fact, even if I asked him, he wouldn't have agreed to be involved. This dangerous reagent was developed during the process of uncovering the mechanisms behind how the pathogens controlling Satoko Hojo's brain could induce derangement or paranoia in their host. To put it bluntly, injecting H107 into a patient with Hinamazawa syndrome forced them to express terminal symptoms. It threw the brain into a simulated state of agitation, intentionally forcing the pathogen to grow unstable. If we continue researching this, it will be possible to drive anyone with Hinamazawa syndrome violently insane at any time. Studying the mechanism behind that will help solve the syndrome's mysteries. So this study on H170 will be extremely important to future research. Also, this medicine has military applications as the client requested. At this point, there's absolutely no use for it. But once our research progresses a bit further, this H170 could be spread at the right moment to cause a certain type of reaction. Compared to a killer virus, it seems like a useless pathogen. But there's no way to detect it in a dead body, and it makes it look as though the person just went insane spontaneously, so it must have some useful applications. The Marco Polo Bridge incident threatened to end research on Hinamazawa syndrome before. A historically important incident like that couldn't have been created by a killer virus. But it's possible with Hinamazawa syndrome. The elders of the Alphabet Project, the sponsor for our research, can think whatever they want about that. I don't care how they use what I've learned. My purpose is to solve the mysteries of Hinamazawa syndrome and to make people realize how important this research is. Also, to make people acknowledge my grandfather's accomplishments and achievements. Any military applications were just byproducts of the process that I didn't care about.
クライアントにとっては高野さんの成果の方が喜ばれるでしょう。
The clients will appreciate your accomplishment.
来期の予算取りが楽になるかもしれませんね。
Maybe our budget will increase for next term.
情熱だけでは研究は続けられませんものね。
Passion alone can't keep research going.
先立つものがなければ。
We need money.
これだけの潤沢な資金を提供してくださるスポンサーさんには頭が上がりません。
We must thank the sponsor for giving us so much funding.
これだけのお金が公費から出ているのですから。
For this much money to come from public expenses.
日本という国は私たちが想像しているよりずっと豊かなのかもしれませんね。
Maybe Japan is richer than I thought.
公費は公費でも表に出せない黒い公費でしょうけれどね。
They're public expenses, but they're expenses that can't be made public. Erie has no idea what I had to go through to get that money. Anyway, what an ominous sentence there. Anyway, our research is going extremely well. We don't know what we'll find out about Hinamazawa syndrome, but I'm sure every mystery will eventually be solved. I can hardly wait. What the syndrome indicates is that humans are simply empty containers. What we believe to be our will is simply the actions of parasites that live in our brains. If that mystery was solved, it would have a greater impact than anything else in history. That is a truth which nobody wants to believe. This is an achievement my grandfather predicted back during his time. Ah, I know now. I know the reason why my grandfather was so fascinated by his work. It's H17. H107. Scary. I'm gonna say scary. Scary science. Big money funding. Satoko with uncle and aunt. And I'll say Irie works hard. To look after Satoko. Good enough, I say. Okay, like I said, distrust of the mother of a queen. I pick next. Results on that and that are required. The truth about the Shirakawa. I'm gonna exit just to be safe, but I feel pretty confident about this one. Gonna be 100% honest. Haha. Rika has developed a high fever. Oh wait, wasn't Rika needing a fever a thing? Rika has fever. It's the song. Alright, Rika has developed a high... What was the other one? It said, fucking Tomatake needed a fever too, right? Some water. Alright, Rika has developed a high fever. A very high fever. It's not flu season, nor season for any type of contagious disease. I can only think of the suspicious experiments Rika has gone through. Maybe the fever is being caused by those. Her growth is rather slow compared to other children her age. Receiving mysterious shots and going through experiments every week, I'm sure her body is exhausted. I've asked the staff to go easy on her, but Rika herself is fearless and is willing to go through anything. My husband, who should be admonishing her for that, truly believes their story that it's crucial to the lives of over 2,000 villagers and takes our own daughter to that clinic every week. I'm the only one who's sincerely worried about her health. That's why I want to ask Dr. Irie to be a little more considerate towards Rika. Anyway, I have to talk to them about taking responsibility for this. Right after I called, a staff member came to pick Rika up to admit her to the clinic. As her guardian, I came with them.
落ち着いてください、お母さん。
Please, calm down.
必ず救いますから。もうしばらくお待ちになってください。
We'll make sure she's okay, so please wait for a while.
これが落ち着けるかというんです。
How can I calm down?
急にこんな高熱が出るなんておかしいじゃないですか。
Why did she come down with such a high fever?
これも先週にやったというなんとかという怪しげな実験の影響じゃないんですか？
Isn't this caused by the experiment you performed last week?
リカはね、年相応の小さな女の子なんですよ。
Rika's just a little girl, you know?
リカは友達思いだから病気にかかった友達のためにと。
She cares about her friend, so she's doing what she can for the sick girl. The sick girl.
分かっております。
I understand.
それに私たちの研究が間違ってもリカさんに悪い影響を及ぼすようなことはありえませんし、万一にもそのようなことが起こらないよう常に注意をしています。
There's no way our research would affect Rika's son negatively. Besides, we're being extremely careful so that something like that won't happen.
だったらこのリカの熱は一体どういうことなんですか？
Then explain this high fever.
おそらくは季節の変わり目ですので。
Irie just wants to be like, sometimes kids get sick. It's probably due to the change in seasons, and
風邪なわけないでしょ。
how could this be a simple cold?
あなたたちが妙な薬を注射したからに決まっています。
This is because of the weird shot you gave her. Dr. Irie only told me to calm down and refuse to accept responsibility. My husband told me this is all for the sake of the village, and that's why I've held back my doubts until now. But I'm at my limit. Man, it's really interesting. We, throughout, obviously, for obvious reasons, didn't get to see anything from, like, the Rika's parents' perspective. And now it's very interesting here, since we're getting so much earlier in the timeline of, like, the dad and how he's like, oh, we gotta do it for the best of the goodness of the people of the village. And then the mom apparently just being like, what the fuck is happening to my child? Like, it's such an interesting dynamic to be able to see, in my opinion. My husband told me to stay at the village, and that's why I've held back my doubts till now, but I'm at my limit. Their existence has been suspicious from the beginning. They're conducting their research in secret, using a privacy policy as an excuse. That was shady enough on its own. It's just impossible. In fact, I called the Ministry of Health and was told that wasn't true at all. Even after I told them I'm Rika Furude's mother. The clinic even came up with stupid excuses, saying normal workers often don't know of a special institute like theirs. That doesn't make sense at all. It's much, much too suspicious. Also, there are people who don't appear to be researchers working at the institute. They look like security guards, but they seem so different from normal guards at a normal hospital. In fact, one time I accidentally saw that they were armed with guns.
それはですね。
That is... well... Also, this is very weird timing, but now I'm just remembering that I never messaged back someone something. Where is... yeah. Someone messaged me something and I forgot to respond, so now I feel like I gotta make sure I actually... I had like a brain blast moment. I was like, you never responded to a message that was critical that you responded to. Alright, sorry about that. So Irie says, that is, well, that's just how my brain works. I'm fucking reading this and then all of a sudden, like, a message I didn't respond to last night. I'm like, oh.
あの人たちは警察なんですか？
Are they policemen?
とてもそうには見えません。
I don't think so.
大体あなた方は何者なんですか？
Who are you all anyway?
厚生省の人間だなんて私は今更信じませんよ。
I refuse to believe you're from the Ministry of Health. Dr. Irie seems taken aback by my intensity and I can't even answer properly. And he can't. Excuse me. Wouldn't be an Austin stream without some sneezes. They're still hiding a lot more from us. That tells me the research they're working on with Rika isn't anything proper.
とにかく私はリカの保護者です。
Anyway, I'm Rika's guardian.
リカはまだまだ子供です。
Rika is still a child.
あの子が何をどう返事しようとも今後は一切研究を手伝わせるつもりはありません。
It doesn't matter what she says. I won't let her participate in this research anymore.
あらあら。
No, here comes Takano. My.
リカちゃんのお母さんではありませんの。
It's Rika-chan's mother.
どうもこんにちは。
Hello.
あら、どうかなさいまして？
Oh, what's the matter? Is everything okay?
いえ、
Well...
お母さんがリカさんをこれ以上研究に関わらせたくないとおっしゃってまして。
Rika-chan's mother says she won't let Rika-chan participate in the research any longer.
それはどうしてですか？
Why is that?
うちの子はあなたたちの実験動物ではないからです。
Because she's not your guinea pig.
そう扱ったことなどございませんわよ。
We've never treated her that way.
それは大きな誤解ですわ。
You're misunderstanding us. I'm a little startled. Dr. Irie is a weak person who backs down under pressure. Takano-san is different. I'm yelling at her, but she's not afraid at all. On the contrary, she's glaring daggers and looks as if she's about to jump on me.
リカちゃんの熱は風邪によるものですわ。
Rika-chan's fever is caused by a cold.
私たちのせいだなんてとんでもない。
We didn't cause it.
私たちは安全や衛生には国立研究所クラスの注意を払ってます。
When it comes to safety and sanitation, we pay the same level of attention as a national research center.
失礼ですが、アルコール消毒もしない手でリカちゃんの手を引いて歩いているあなたより衛生的なくらいですわよ。
I don't mean to be rude, but considering you walk around while holding Rika-chan's hands without disinfecting yours with alcohol first, we are far more sanitary. Damn.
そんなことは聞いていません。
We're not talking about that.
とにかくリカはあなたたちのおもちゃじゃないんです。
Anyway, Rika isn't your toy.
リカはもう二度とここへは連れてきません。
She'll never come back here again.
あなたの一存で決められては困りますわね。
Uh-oh. She's got the anger face. Look at that. You can't decide that by yourself.
ご協力をいただくことについてご両親には契約書にサインをしてもらっているはずではございませんの？
You and your husband both signed the statement of consent, didn't you?
研究に協力していただく見返りに決して少なくない額を毎月お口座に振り込ませていただいているはずですわ。
We've been depositing money that's by no means a small amount into your account every single month for her cooperation in the research.
そんなお金私は知りませんよ。
What? I know nothing about any money.
聞いたこともないです。
I've never even heard of that before. Rika receiving money for participating in their research really is news to me. Knowing my husband's character, he wouldn't have used it as spending money behind my back. I bet he thought of it as a free service for the villagers and completely forgot about the money being deposited into our account. There haven't been any strange deposits in the regular account, so it may be in our savings. Anyway, I don't care about that.
契約を保護にされる場合にはそれまでの振込額をすべて返還していただくことになっているのはご存知ですわね。
If you want to breach our contract, we'll have to ask you to return the full amount of deposits we have made up until this point.
他にも一方的な保護についてそちらに非がある場合、
Also, if one party is at fault for the breach of contract...
高野さん、
Takano-san,
落ち着いてください。
please calm down.
お母さんもどうか。
Mrs. Furude, you too.
ひなみ沢症候群は以前にもご説明させていただきましたように、これからも村人たちが安心して生活していくために絶対に治療していかなくてはならないものなのです。
Just as I explained to you before, we must find a cure for Hinamizawa syndrome so the villagers can continue to live without worries.
そのためにはどうしてもリカさんのご協力が必要なのです。
For that reason, we need to have Rika-san continue to participate.
治療のためって じゃあその治療薬はいつになったら出来上がるんですか？
Then tell me, when are you going to find a cure? Alright, well, it doesn't work like that, lady.
大体おかしいじゃないですか。
It doesn't make sense.
リカの友達のさとこちゃんのためということでしたけど、そのさとこちゃんはもう退院して元気に生活しているというじゃありませんか。
At first, she said this was for Rika's friend, Satoko-chan, but Satoko-chan has been released from the clinic and is now carrying on happily.
確か先々週にうちの人が話を聞いた時にも、もう治療のめどは立ったというようなお話をされていたはずですわよね。
You even told my husband 2 weeks ago that you found a cure already, didn't you?
ええ
Yes.
目処はついたというような話はしたと思います。
I think I told him something like that.
ですが、ひなみ沢症候群の全貌を解明するためには、
But, you see, to solve the mysteries of the syndrome,
全貌の解明なんか最初の話で聞いていません。
you didn't mention anything about solving mysteries at the beginning.
リカが協力するのは村人の病気を治療するためのはずです。
Rika was to participate to find a cure for the villagers.
ならもう十分ではありませんの。
So now, her job is done.
皆さんがリカに怪しげな研究やら検査やらをしているのはあなた方の興味本位であって、治療とは何の関係もないんじゃありませんの？
All the research and experiments you're performing on Rika have nothing to do with the cure. You're doing them out of your own self-interest. Am I right? Or aren't I right?
そんなことはありません。
That's not true. It really isn't.
とにかくリカさんの風邪の件は誤解なんです。
Anyway, this matter of Rika-san's cold is just a misunderstanding.
もしどうしてもご不審ということでしたら、
If you still don't trust us, then
とにかくもう結構です。
that's enough.
お金の話もあるみたいなので、私も帰って夫と相談しますから。
Since money is involved here, I'll have to discuss it with my husband.
それでは失礼します。
Excuse me. They were just too shady from the very start. Because of their exaggerated story, Rika and my husband took their side, but it won't work on me. Anyhow, I must settle things with them right away, because Rika isn't their toy. I especially don't trust that woman called Takano. Dr. Irie seems to me like he's still a doctor, but she doesn't. How can I describe her? I guess I can say the glow in her eyes is just unpleasant. She only sees Rika as a guinea pig. I can feel cruelty emitting from her. Neither my husband nor Rika have noticed that. I must protect her. As a mother, I must protect Rika.
高野さんらしくもない。
That's not like you, Takano-san.
あそこで喧嘩を買ってしまったら、余計に話がこじれてしまうではありませんか。
Getting into an argument with her will only make things more complicated.
あなたらしくもないですよ。
It's so unlike you.
そうですわね。
I know.
ごめんなさい、取り乱してしまって。
She's pissed. She's pissed, and she's pissed that she was able to get, to falter like this. Look at her. Look at that face. Sorry for losing my cool. Did something happen to put her in a bad mood? Irie wondered. The heated conversation she just had didn't involve the Takano he knew. Oh, alright. So, I'm gonna say Rika fever. I'm gonna say Rika's mom. Suspicious. And then Takano loses her cool. Easy. And there, I know we were waiting on I think, the mom being Rika's mother's suspicion, yeah. So I called this exactly how the order, I think last time at the end, I was like, it's good this, and then it leads to this, right? The third year's curse of Oyoshiro-sama is required. The death of Satoko Hojo's aunt. Look how many fragments. I mean, there's only so many more options here. Declaration of war, a bat. Rika's high fever. The Tomatake still needs a fever, I think. Completion of the medicine C117 is required. Completion of the medicine. Death of Kazumi. Draft. Tomatake's promise. Promise. Part-time job. Now I'm trying to be, like, extra careful. Nope. Okay, I think third sacrifice is where we're at next here. The situation has changed. Rika's father suddenly changed his mind about having her help out with the research. When Rika came down with a high fever the other day, her mother, who wasn't happy about her daughter helping in the first place, finally blew up. I was hoping the father would convince her somehow, but now he seems to be on her side. Rika's father didn't get emotional like her mother, but he demanded that we make our research plans for Rika clear, and that we finish our research within 3 months at most, which was completely unrealistic. Research can't have a deadline. That's out of the question. We cultivate results by grinding down our knowledge, skills, and time. To take time away from us is like taking away what's vital to live. How could he say such a thing? Curses, 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 curses. Rika's parents are only saying that because they don't know anything about the scientific research. However, as they are the parents of the Queen Carrier, we are completely lost about what to do. Tests and experiments on the Queen Carrier are an essential part of our research into Inamazawa syndrome. Her existence is the focal point of our work. To lose her would be like losing our sense of direction out in open water. Rika is providing her cooperation with our research, but the withdrawal of her guardian's consent could be a setback. The situation is extremely dire. Rika's parents are only interested in finding a cure, but to me, the cure is only a small part of solving the mystery. I can't let her go. Are our differences causing this predicament? And it's not only them. Same thing is happening between Irie and me. He thinks it's inevitable that we need to stop the research if Rika's parents refuse to consent. It's understandable. From the beginning, Irie never had the determination to solve the mysteries of Inamazawa syndrome. He won't back down from the research assertively, but he will passively by agreeing with Rika's parents. Is that the attitude of a researcher who's trying to unravel mysteries? He's the type of man who would step on my grandfather's research with his dirty feet. He is nothing but a coward who's in this half-heartedly. He started to feel guilty over his past the moment he saw blood. He isn't qualified to even be involved in researching Inamazawa syndrome. He is simply an outsider who joined in because of the client's demands. If I were a man, he wouldn't be here in the first place. While it's true he produced wonderful results with his development of a cure, he seems to think it's alright to close up shop with that. Is he planning to waste everything by being satisfied with just that tiny result? That man doesn't have any right to discard my grandfather's research. I can feel my guts boiling. No. Irie isn't the main person at fault. The one to blame here is that woman, Rika's mother. That woman, Rika's mother, who don't have a name for her. If she wasn't so selfish, this wouldn't have happened. Maybe it's partly my fault. I maintained trust through relationships and obligations all this time, but somehow Rika's mother and I didn't get along, so I didn't try to socialize with her. I thought it was fine because I get along with Rika and her father. But now, the mother has influenced the father and changed his decision. What negligence. What a reversal. What a blunder. Irie is saying we should talk to the office in Tokyo about what to do next. But I know once the Tokyo office finds out about this, they'll order us to shut the research down. I've worked so hard to even get things started. If they hear anything negative, they'll put a stop to it. I've come too far to complete my grandfather's research. Can't let it be stopped. I still have a little time to think about this. I need to calm down and analyze this carefully. I've always come up with a great plan when I drink my favorite tea and bite my nails like this. She's a freak. I looked up at the ceiling and closed my eyes, as tenderly as possible. There were times where I couldn't find a solution, but someone else came up with a simple one. I've been able to overcome everything that's been thrown at me. I even endured the hell at that orphanage, so I'll never let that woman get in the way. Settle your thoughts down. Think about this clearly. Be calm, Mio Takano. Someone else may come up with a better idea. But who? It's not me. Can't be Irie. Of course, nobody from the village will do. Do I talk to someone in Tokyo? No, I can't. I don't want to owe anyone a favor. Even Kozumi-sensei would be disgusted if he finds out I can't solve such a simple matter by myself. Ah, I know. There's someone I can talk to nearby. They're supposed to be my subordinates after all, so it's worth the try. I call the leader of the mountain dogs, Okanogi. The mountain dogs are my subordinates, but they're part of the self-defense force, and I'm just a researcher. So we never really had a chance to interact. He did what he was supposed to, and I did what I was supposed to. So, never even thought of discussing anything with him. But the mountain dogs are there to protect and support our research. Why didn't I think of talking to him before?
そら、難儀な子ですな。
What a difficult situation. He used to speak standard Japanese, but now he has the Hinamazawa accent. I guess fitting into the region is the first thing they need to do.
このままだと女王感染者の協力が受けられなくなるばかりか、騒ぎ立てる母親によって研究所の所在が暴かれる危険性もある。
We may lose the queen carrier, and not only that, but her mother might end up exposing our secrets.
山犬で何か手は打てる？
Can you do something about it? I asked Okanogi rather directly. I'm not really expecting an answer. But...
了解しました。
Understood.
山犬で対応します。お時間をいただければきれいにやりますよ。
Just give us a little time and we'll do a clean job.
対応？
Take care of it.
警察沙汰にならんようにしますんで、少々の準備は必要ですが。
We'll make sure the police won't get involved. We need a little time to prep.
難しい仕事じゃありませんね。
But it won't be difficult. I'm startled. Rika's mother is my enemy, but I was thinking about how I could convince her. But the leader of the Mountain Dogs, the counterintelligence unit whose duty is to protect the secret research, came up with a much simpler plan.
それは殺すということ。
Do you mean to kill her?
入江機関の機密保持にあたっては最悪の場合、それも持参中話のはずですが。
To preserve the secret, I was told to do whatever is necessary.
もちろん、ご命令があって初めて実行することですが。
Of course, we won't do anything until we get an order. Right. This is a very simple problem to him. Rika's mother has started to interfere with our research. Not only that, there's a chance she might talk to people about the Institute, so they will eliminate her.
それは確かにうまい手ね。
Ah, that sounds like a good idea.
うまくやれるの？
Can you do a good job of it?
そのために来ている我々ですんで。
That's why we're here.
大臣の孫の誘拐以来、久々の大仕事になりますわ。
This will be our biggest job since the kidnapping of the minister's grandson. Ah, I remember now. The Mountain Dogs are the ones who kidnapped the grandson of the Minister of Construction and used that to blackmail him. See, I feel like this would have been the moment where then it would have been like the clue as to the construction kidnapping son thing. Whatever. Apparently I'm in the wrong. It has been a few years, so I completely forgot about that. They did such a marvelous job then. That's right. I have the Mountain Dogs on my side.
実行はすぐにでも可能？
Can you get on with it right away?
ただ殺すだけなら今夜にでも。
We could easily kill her, even tonight.
ただ、それでは騒ぎが大きくなりますんで、周到に監視してから、きれいに蒸発してもらうようお膳立てします。
But that'd create too much of a fuss. We'll make it look like she disappeared.
そのための時間さえもらえれば。
Just give us a little time to make some arrangements. Just like a cat's eyes under a bright light, I can feel something in the back of my eyes open up. Up until now, I've been racking my brain trying to figure out how to make her my ally, or at least make her surrender or pacify her. Yet, one order to this man and the problem's easily solved. I feel like a bird taking its first flight. Ah, how easily I can get rid of that annoying mother. All I have to do is give an order. I feel grateful to Kazumi-sensei for giving me such terrific subordinates. What a wonderful power he has given me. I was taught that all people are equal, but if I have the power to control people's lives, then that means I'm more important than they are. What a sentence there. If I have the power to control people's lives, then that means I'm more important than they are. What a feeling it is to be above others.
消すのは、フルでリカの母親だけでいいですね。
So, did you just want Rika Furude's mother to disappear?
え？
Eh?
いや、ちょっと待って。
Well, wait a minute. Does he mean only Rika Furude's mother? I can feel chills over my body. If possible, maybe I should have her father disappear too. Rika is willing to help. She has no other relatives in the Furude family. It'd if both parents die, she has to depend on someone. The Irie Institute can support her. We can give her status, money, protection. We can give her everything. By doing so, maybe it's possible to make her one of us, rather than just having her as a helper. All my worries are melting away. Everything I was just concerned about seems like a joke now. I had such powerful subordinates all this time, yet I never realized. All of my tension is being released, and I'm starting to feel relaxed. I can feel myself regaining my cool head. I'm going to get rid of them. Rika's parents, that is. The Queen Carrier is my guinea pig. A guinea pig doesn't need parents. That's right. It's almost time for the Wada Nagashi festival. If they die on that day, people will call it the curse of Oishiro-sama. The murder case from 2 years ago and the accident from last year are two separate incidents. Yet, because they happened on the day of Wada Nagashi, they're being called the curse of Oishiro-sama. Then, for parents' deaths occur on this year's Wada Nagashi, it'll be Oishiro-sama's curse 3 years in a row. The miracle of Oishiro-sama. Also, the curse. I'm going to create them. This is a chance for me to ascend to godhood and toy with human fate. The incidents that occurred 2 years in a row are said to be a curse, but not everyone believes that. However, if it happens 3 years in a row, then everyone has to believe. Because that'll be a true curse that's created by me. I'll become Oishiro-sama. My desire for revenge against God is coming together.
ただ消すだけではなんだか面白みがないと思わない？
Making her merely disappear isn't that fun, is it? When I started to laugh, Okanogi grinned to show his interest.
私たちの手でお社様のたたりを作ってみるの。
We're going to create the curse of Oishiro-sama. I can't just let her die. She'll be demoned away, and I'm going to enjoy dissecting her alive. Of course, I won't just have fun. This will be extremely useful for our research. After all, she's the previous Queen Carrier. Damn. Damn. Alright, so I'm gonna write, Takano has a hard time coming up with plan, then plans. Keep wanting to say watchdogs. Mountain dogs. To kill Rika's parents. Dun 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 dun. The third year's curse. So the third year's curse is what we just are setting up. Does that mean then that it has to have taken place, or that it was set up? What we just read. The death of Aunt, that hasn't happened. Execution order for this, the execution order. Declaration of war from Oishi. I think we're doing this. So mysterious death of the Frude couple, and then it's going to go back to this, right? Red capsule. And then there's one that needs the capsule. Red capsule, Rina Ryugu. Alright, we've got like the next three. You know what? I'm so confident. Famous last words, but I'm so confident. Mysterious death of the Frude couple. I'm going to write it in my notebook here first before I... Mysterious. Again, this is another opportunity for you to yell at your screen if I'm wrong. While I'm writing this. It allows the viewing audience to play along. I'm like a shitty episode of Blue's Clues or Dora the Explorer, where I'm asking like, oh, is this gonna be the thing? And then you can be like, no! Don't click the fucking thing! And just like Steve or the titular Dora the Explorer, I can't listen. I can't hear what you say. Not to ruin some movie or TV magic for you. But they can't hear you. They can't hear you talking to their screen. Alright, mysterious death of Furude couple. We just got the execution order, and I think Oishi's declaration of war came like a couple streams ago or something. Haha! Okay. I'm so proud of myself, and it's not that big a deal. Alright, deep down, I was prepared for something to happen tonight once again. The first year, the workers were stirred into a frenzy, killing and dismembering the old man. In the second war, the Hojo couple... The second war? In the second year, the Hojo couple were killed through a fake accident. Since the dam protests, only people who have been hated by the villagers died on the day of Watnagashi. Some people in the village were calling the incidents the curse of Oishiro-sama. Now that the dam protests are over, there'd be no meaning in the village's enemies being killed on the night of the festival, I thought. If that was true, then there were still some enemies left over. I thought that perhaps that would again happen on the night of the festival 3 years in a row. My hunch was right. At first, however, it looked so natural that I didn't think anything of it. The festival was nearing its end, and the village officials were gathered under the main tent. They opened their beers, and enjoyed the leftover corn and braised cow tripe from the refreshment stands. I was in the main tent too, being entertained by the villagers. So I was actually there at the scene of the third year's incident when it happened. Yet, I didn't notice anything at the beginning. Hey, Furude-san, what's the matter? Are you feeling sick? Most of the older folks in the village were heavy drinkers, but a few were lightweights too. The priest was one of the latter. The priest was a representative as well as a host during the Watnagashi festival. So every time visitors and guests arrived, he greeted them, and each time he was offered a drink. So by the night's end, he was pretty worn out. That's why I didn't think anything of it to see the priest sitting by himself in a folding chair. The mayor, Kimiyoshi, was the one to tap his shoulder and ask him if he was alright. Are you alright? Or are you okay? Ha ha ha! You drank too much, didn't you? Huh? Does your chest hurt? Sorry, I think I'm a little tired. Huh? Didn't you have heart trouble before? Getting sudden pains isn't a good sign. Dr. Irie! Irie! Dr. Irie! What's wrong? Is it your chest? That's not good. When I saw what was going on, I noticed he was covered in a terrible sweat and was definitely not relaxing in his chair and enjoying the cool evening breeze. His face had a sickly pallor? And I thought he should lie down immediately. I should probably take you to the clinic. Are you okay? Can you hold on to my shoulder? Hey, somebody help! The priest doesn't feel well. What's wrong with my husband? Dear, are you alright? Takano-san. Perfect timing. The priest doesn't feel well, so I'm gonna take him to the clinic. Could you please have the car come around here? Sure. No problem. So the priest and his wife headed to the clinic with Dr. Irie. I don't know about young people, but the elderly know their own bodies well. They almost never push themselves to the point where they start feeling ill. Especially someone like the priest. It was hard to imagine him drinking himself sick. The cumulative experience of my years was telling me something. I headed to the Irie clinic just in case. I tried to follow their car, but because the festival was almost over and all the stands were closing up, there was a lot of traffic going in and out, making it almost impossible for me to leave the temporary parking lot. More than 20 minutes had passed since the priest was carried in by the time I arrived at the clinic. 20 minutes. If it hadn't taken me 20 minutes, my involvement in this year's incident would have been quite different. I regretted not leaving on foot the moment I realized how hard it was to get my car out. All I get to do now is jot down the facts. Because between the time the priest left the festival and the time I arrived at the clinic, during those 20 minutes, this year's curse had taken place. The priest's condition changed for the worse right after he arrived at the clinic. He died. The autopsy results say it was heart failure, but how can I accept that? I don't think the priest was having health problems, and everyone was taken by surprise by the sudden event. Moreover, the wife of the priest disappeared too. According to the clinic staff, she was with him right after he died, but she's nowhere to be seen now. Of course, she's not at home either. Maybe someone poisoned the priest. During the dam conflict, the priest was frowned upon for his remarks. He said there was no need to make a big fuss because the dam project would be cancelled anyway. The older villagers liked to hold grudges and hadn't forgotten that, so even I had heard word of them talking about how the priest wasn't fit for the shrine to Oishiro-sama. I called for backup and had them go search for the missing wife. With last year's falling couple incident as precedent, it was easy to believe both wife and husband could become victims. The villagers' youth group got organized and searched from the village to the mountains, and as a result, we found a set of sandals and a will by the edge of the Onigafuchi swamp. The will said something about how her husband's death was the curse of Oishiro-sama, and she was throwing herself in the swamp to calm the god's anger. In other words, she committed suicide by jumping into the swamp. Legends say that the swamp is bottomless and is connected directly to hell. Once you sink, you'll never come back. Divers from the police department searched the swamp, but her body was nowhere to be found. The past two mysterious incidents were solved individually, just as the higher-ups say, but something is odd about this year's mysterious death. The ill priest was carried to the clinic. His wife accompanied him. Within 20 minutes, the priest died of heart failure, and the wife either committed suicide or disappeared. The death of the priest may really have been a fatal heart attack, but for his wife to assume that it was the curse and to commit suicide by jumping into the swamp, for all that to happen in 20 minutes just doesn't seem natural. The Furude family has no relatives. Even if she was a true believer in Oishiro-sama, how could she commit suicide while leaving behind her one and only daughter? Irie is hiding something too. But he's just a village doctor, which means he's nothing more than their pawn. If this is all a conspiracy to assassinate the priest, then there's someone who's pulling the strings. I'd been starting to think that trying to tie the past two incidents to the village so forcefully was a bit overbearing of me, but this incident was enough to convince me that the series of cases involving mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa were all grounded in one intention. This incident has countless numbers of discrepancies, but someone from the village seems to be putting pressure on high command. And just like the past incidents, this one will be treated as an individual case and end up being forgotten. Since it happened 3 years in a row, everyone in the village will say it's curse of Oishiro-sama. I think that's the culprit's goal. After the war, belief in Oishiro-sama became antiquated. Is someone committing these murders as a ritual to restore that god's dignity? One pulling the strings must be the Sonozaki family. Oh, Oishi. You fucking fool. A few months passed. Oryu Sonozaki said something like it was natural for that priest to be cursed by Oishiro-sama, and so the priest's case was lumped together with the mysterious Hinamizawa deaths, otherwise known as Oishiro-sama's curse. At first, I simply wanted to avenge the old man, but now that case had grown into an abnormal one, centered on the villagers' faith. Damn it, the old man's killer is human. I won't let it be pushed off into some nonsense curse. Oh, Oishi, you were so close, yet so far away. I'm gonna write Rika's parents murdered. Rika's parents murdered. Oishi suspects Sonozaki's. AKA Oishi is a fool. So I'm pretty sure red capsule is next, right? So the third year's curse is required. We see that. We're going to go red pill. Then we go completion of the medicine C17. I think we can... Well, I don't need to jump too far ahead, but... The mysterious death of the Furude couple is required. Oh, we can probably do this too then, now that that's taken place. I think the next three we're going to do then, for sure, a watermelon. Ryugu family's move is required. That might happen here. Move is required. Move is required. This might be the move. I would assume this is going to be Rina would be a move, right? Fourth year's curse. I think we're going to go... Alright, we're going to go red capsule. And then it's going to go to Rina Ryugu. Rina Ragu sauce. And then it's gonna be, I would imagine, what is this one? Death of Sotoko, the ant. Yeah. The formation of the club would make sense at that time. Especially if Rina comes into the picture. And we still have, obviously, Satoshi. And the curse, the fourth year curse wouldn't have happened yet. Yeah. After that's probably going to be New Wind. Or after formation of club, it's probably going to be New Wind. And, yeah. We need that bat, but then this would be Death of Satoshi's aunt. And the death of the aunt is needed for... this. Fourth sacrifice. And then fourth sacrifice leads to, then obviously the fourth. I love how ahead of everything I'm getting. I'm like, oh, and then this, and then this, and then this, and then this. But then probably preview of lots for sale, and then we go Catchy's comes into the picture. And also I'm not going to have the Higurashi gods get mad at me, so I'm gonna save just to be safe. Okay. So next is a red capsule. The strange medicine that I can hardly remember was a capsule, or maybe it was an oval tablet. It was so red, it must have been a capsule. I can't imagine a tablet in that color. It must have been a capsule. I think it was a little bigger than a normal one. I think. I can't remember. Although I can hardly remember, if I see that medicine again, it'll refresh my memory. The medicine strips away humanity. Takes away a human soul, memory, emotion, and it numbs the human body. There are no thoughts, no interests, no will to stay awake or sleep. There's no sense of time. Sometimes a second can feel like an eternity, and other times I can almost see the hour hand move. Either way, there's no emotion involved. I can't feel any emotion. Medicine only lets me stay in bed and look up at the ceiling. Only the people who have taken it can understand this misery. What's more scary is that, while I'm on the medication, I don't realize how scary it is. I'm given the medication daily and I keep losing all my senses. So, when the medicine wore off by accident, I realized I should never take it again. That's right. This is a medicine that'll heal me. It's just going to kill me slowly. If I continue to take this medicine, I probably wouldn't be able to tell if I was dead or alive. I would end up losing myself forever. I'll keep looking up at the ceiling without any emotions and keep watching the clock tick forever. If I take the medicine again, I'll lose all my senses I finally regained. I may never be able to bring myself back again. Since the day I realized that, I've been pretending to take the medicine but throwing it away instead. If your doctor prescribes medication, you have to finish taking it even if your symptoms are gone. I can hear my mother's voice. And anytime I went to the doctor's office when I was a child, my mother said that to me. I usually got well before I finished all the medicine, so I didn't finish taking the rest. That's why my mother said that. But this is a different type of medicine. I don't even remember how old I was when my mother said that, but this was a strange capsule in front of me. And I have to try to get rid of my mother's voice from inside my head. I pressed down on my head with my elbows until it hurt, trying to get rid of what my mother kept telling me. Right. As my head clears, I start to remember the ugly side of my mother. My mother betrayed her family. She betrayed me and my father, who waited for her at home with dinner on the table. She told us she was busy with work, but she was having an affair. That was bad enough, but she asked my father for a divorce after he took such good care of her for so many years. But there's something else I can't forgive her for. She invited she invited only me to meet with her new family. Not my father, just me. My father and I are family. Family means being together. Yet my mother tried to destroy the bond between my father and me. Not only had she destroyed her bond with him, she tried to destroy my bond with him too. When I remember, it makes me feel angry and hateful. I can't forgive her. The back of my eyes started to hurt. I could feel the hatred on my face. That overflowing animosity is aimed not only at my mother, but also the man she had an affair with. The man she had an affair with, Uncle Akihito. I didn't like him teasing me, but he gave me an allowance and tried to have fun with me. I liked him very much, but his niceness was all calculated. He wanted to destroy the family bonds between my mother, my father, and me. That's why I shouldn't have said I liked him very much. That's right. I'm starting to remember and understand. I now know my true enemy. It was his fault that my mother started to have an affair, because my mother was a very good mother. He was the one who made her a bad one, so he's the one who deserves the blame. When was the first time I met him? I think it was the time when my mother and I went out and had lunch at a restaurant. She introduced him as one of her colleagues from work. At that time, if I think about the first meeting, I think I felt something wasn't right with the way my mother acted around him. That's right, I did. I did think something was wrong. It didn't feel right. I wish I'd trusted my instincts then. I was a fool to think he was a nice person just because he gave me a strawberry from his piece of cake. It was not my father's fault, because I bet he never met Uncle Akihito. But I have. I've met him many times, and there were a lot of chances to realize he was my enemy. If I had strong enough will to protect my happiness, I could have noticed that. I can't forget how my father looked on that day. My father, who was so nice and gentle, grabbed his knees so tightly and cried so hard. He asked me if I knew Uncle Akihito. I answered yes. Then he slapped me in the face. When he slapped me, I finally realized how stupid I was for being taken in by him. That's right, it was my fault. I destroyed the happiness I'd hoped to last forever with my own hands. If I hadn't been that stupid, my father wouldn't have had to cry like that. My mother would have stayed good. If I wasn't that stupid, it was my fault. I can't forgive my mother and Uncle Akihito. Even when I hate him this much, I still call him Uncle, and I can't forgive myself for that. It was my fault. Everything was my fault. I was too stupid and foolish, and that's why this happened. I hate her. I'm sad. I'm frustrated. I can't stop being angry. If my mother ever came back to this house, I'd rip her apart with my hands. But she never came back. My anger turned towards everything that my mother left in the house. I destroyed every relic my mother left behind, one after another. I threw and smashed everything. But that still didn't calm me down. Even after I turned the whole house upside down, I still couldn't calm my anger. Where does my anger gather? It starts from inside of me, goes through my arms to my fingertips, and spurts from my nails. Where else can it go? So my nails aim at my own body. My body's the filthiest, most disgusting thing of all. I'm the one to be blamed. No, I'm not to blame. My mother's the most at fault. My mother's the most corrupt. My body and soul feels filthy. I wanted to stain myself black and slice the remaining flesh into pieces. And, one day, I finally realized. There are tons of maggots in my blood. I am rotten. I am rotten from the inside. Come on, rot more. But it is indescribably itchy. It is itchy. 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 I stabbed my thigh with a razor blade in the bathroom. The blood flowed out. Reddish-black maggots spilled out. I forced myself to open my blood vessels with my thumbs. Ugh. The maggots spilled out. Squirm, 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 squirm. Squirm, squirm, squirm! So many maggots spilled out of my left thigh. There are probably just as many in my right thigh. Maybe my calves, too. My arms, abdomen, chest. No, no, no. How many maggots are there in the blood vessels in my neck? Strangely, although I've become rather insane, there's still a part of me that is calm. If I keep ripping myself apart like this, I'll end up dead. But everything is my fault, and I'm the one to be blamed. Even if I blame my mother, the only way I can disgrace her is with my own body. Oh, I get it now. That's the best means for quelling my anger. I feel like I'm thinking incredibly rationally now. In order to forgive myself, I need someone else to blame. It has to be someone else's fault. But no such person exists. No matter how much I think about it, or how I twist the logic, my own body is my only outlet to vent this anger. So long as there's no one else to blame, I'll be forced to rip open every blood vessel in my body. Just like no matter how much I scratch, it still itches. No matter how much I rip apart my own body, it's not enough. The blood is all over the bathroom, and I'm sure it makes for quite the gruesome scene. Although I'm trying to stay calm, I can't ignore the sharp pain that runs through my body. Maybe because I've lost so much blood, or maybe because I'm naked in the bathroom, I feel freezing cold. My whole body's throbbing and my heart is beating so fast. What a visceral scene that is set by this. It's well done. It's communicating exactly what it means to. I'm cold and hot at the same time, and I'm also sad, angry, and in pain. I want to find something that lets me forgive myself. Need water. Then it came. It came into a heavenly light. It was mysterious and unreal, like something out of this world. I apologized. Wait, it apologized. It kept apologizing. Why is it apologizing? You apologize when you're at fault. So this thing I just met for the first time was admitting to wronging me. That means I'm not at fault? It's at fault, not me. Haha. Haha. Ha 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 ha. Question mark? I dropped the razor blade. It fell into the puddle of blood. The pain is taking over my body. The pain is ripping apart my own body is taking over me. The pain of ripping apart my own body is taking over me. I've been telling myself this pain is the punishment for what I've done. But I'm not at fault. It is. So I don't need to accept this pain as a punishment. So I don't need to defile my body anymore. She continued apologizing to me over and over as I stood there covered in fresh blood. She apologized every time I wanted to blame myself, constantly whispering that it wasn't my fault. Higurashi-sama exists. She is always following me. Pit, pat, pit, pat. And every time I can't endure the guilt, she apologizes and tells me I'm not at fault. Everything is caused by the curse of Higurashi-sama. Things started to go wrong when I broke the rule that I wasn't supposed to leave Hinamizawa. I finally remember. When I moved from Hinamizawa, one of my neighbors gave me a charm. She said that if I left Hinamizawa, I'd be cursed, so I had to take the charm. That's right, she gave me a charm. It had some complicated writing on it, but I hadn't seen it since I moved here. I may have lost it. There's nothing I can do about that. If Hinamizawa residents leave Hinamizawa, they'll be cursed. My mother and I, even Uncle Akihito too, may have gone insane because of the curse of Higurashi-sama. Nobody was at fault from the beginning, because everything is cursed, or caused by the curse of Higurashi-sama. Nobody's at fault. Nobody. Nobody. I'm finally able to forgive everything. The anger that I couldn't get rid of even after I destroyed everything, including my body and soul, is finally gone. Father, now I know. The curse of Higurashi-sama is what caused my mother to leave, and for you to be sad. You remember Higurashi-sama, don't you? The guardian deity of Hinamizawa? That's right. People of Hinamizawa aren't supposed to go to the outside world. That's why Mother went insane. It's all because of the curse of Higurashi-sama. If we had stayed in Hinamazawa, we would have been happy. Oishiro-sama came to me and told me that. Come to think of it, Oishiro-sama has been trying to tell me that for a long time. But after Mother left, I didn't know why she left or how to express my anger. Oishiro-sama has kept following me ever since then to let me know that. She followed me everywhere, the sound of her footsteps echoing behind me. But I pretended I didn't notice her. Ah ha 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 ha. I was so stupid. I didn't hear her voice until I slashed my body all over. If only I had listened to Oshiro-sama's voice. I bet she started warning me once Uncle Akihito came into my life. If the whole family had gone back to Hinamazawa, my mother wouldn't have had an affair. We would have been happy there. I bet Oshiro-sama's been trying to tell me that. That's right. She must have been trying to warn me, ever since we left Hinamazawa. She was always with me. She followed me everywhere. I was stupid, trying to pretend I didn't notice. Everything was because of that stupidity. If I had noticed Oshiro-sama's voice, my family wouldn't have suffered from the curse. It's all my fault. Ah, Oshiro-sama's apologizing. She keeps apologizing, which means this is all her fault. So this isn't my fault, is it? Because this is the curse of Oshiro-sama, right? She's apologizing, saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Oshiro-sama is apologizing repeatedly. So I'm sorry too. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I didn't hear your voice. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. We are from Hinamazawa, so we have to keep hearing your voice. Oshiro-sama definitely exists. Exists. Can't you hear, Father? Don't you see? Oshiro-sama's right there apologizing, saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I'm sorry too. Come on, Father, let's apologize too. Mother, you don't have to apologize. You should die because of the curse. I hate you, Mother. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. I hate myself for being your daughter. These maggots are your fault. They make me itch everywhere. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, I don't want that medicine. My mother got it to kill me, so I don't want it. I won't take it. I told you I won't take it. Stop. This is a curse, so you can't fix it with medicine. It won't get rid of the maggots because this is a curse. No, I don't want a shot either. Stop. It hurts. Everything is falling into a gray world. The voices of my father and the doctor sound so far away. Even what just happened seems like it happened a long time ago. Again, I'm given the capsule, and even my memory from a minute ago is gone. I'm back in my bed, staring at the ceiling. And what I can see, the only thing that interests me is the hands on the clock. Tick, tock, tick, tock. I follow the minute hand as it goes around slowly, and the hour hand as it goes around slowly. Quickly. Did I read that wrong? I follow the minute hand as it goes around quickly, and the hour hand as it goes around slowly. I see other things too, but they keep going through the same motions, just like the hands on the clock. I'm sorry. It's my fault. I'm sorry. Oshiro-sama keeps apologizing. Tick, tock, tick, tock. I'm sorry. Tick, tock, I'm sorry. Repeating over and over, constantly, nothing else. The chorus of Higurashi coming in through the window during the night seems louder than usual. Ooh, that's a doozy! Rina doesn't want to take medicine. She freaks out. She freaks out. She experiences Yashiro-sama. Yeah, that's good enough. I feel like there's like less needing to be noted as far as us progressing, just because we've kind of built the path now. The path is here. A red capsule is required. Formation of club. New wind. Preview lots. Yes. Okay. Alright, Rena.
ごめんください。
Oh, bright, cheery music. Hello!
はいはいはい。あらら、こんにちは。
Hello, hello. Good afternoon.
あれ、どちら様？
Oh, who are you?
あ、どうも。
Ah, sorry.
私、お隣に引っ越してきました。リュウグウと申します。
We just moved in next door.
引っ越しのご挨拶にお伺いしました。
We're here to introduce ourselves.
どうかよろしくお願いします。
Pleased to meet you.
あららら。
Oh my, oh my.
こんな田舎の村にこんな若い子が引っ越してきちゃったのかい？
Someone as young as you moved here?
そうかいそうかい。よく来たね。
I see, I see. Welcome.
お母ちゃん？
Mom.
お隣さん、引っ越しのご挨拶来られたわよ。
Our new neighbor's here to say hello.
でっけえ声出さんでも聞こえてんな。
Don't yell like that.
つったらわざわざ丁寧に挨拶すまなしゃろな。
Thank you for taking time to come over.
竜宮さんだって。
They're the Ryugu family.
お隣の空き家に引っ越されてきたって。
They just moved into the empty house next door.
あ
Ah!
あんたレナちゃんかいな。
You're Rena-chan, aren't you?
大きゅなって。
My, how you've grown.
はい、レイナです。
Yes, I'm Rena.
覚えててくれてたんですか？
Thank you for remembering. How?
なんねお母ちゃん知ってんのかい？
Mom, do you know her?
知ってるもなんと。
Of course I do.
ああ、お前沖宮に住んどったから知らんか。
You were living in Okinomiya then, so you probably don't remember.
ずいぶん前に住んでたお隣さんね。
But they used to live next door.
そうかいそうかい。戻ってきたんかい。
So, you came back, huh?
やっぱり都会よか。村の方が落ち着くねんな。
This village is better than the big city, is it?
住んでたのは小さい頃なんで、あまりよくは覚えていないんですけど。
I don't remember much because I was so small when we lived here.
でも、ここが私の帰ってくるところだったんだなって、とても懐かしくなります。
But I feel this is where I belong.
なら馴染むのは早いね。
Then you'll fit right in.
なんかお手伝いできることがあったらいつでも言ってね。
If there's anything we can do for you, let us know.
遠慮はしないのがここのルールだから。
There's no need to hesitate. Being unreserved is the rule here, after all.
はい、
Yes.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you very much. I thought I remember things if I walked around the village, but I still don't remember much. I do recall, however, the vivid breeze as well as the brilliant greenery. I don't remember the village, but I remember that this is my hometown. Red scars still remain on my body. They're hardly visible and I can't even feel them. I'm sure they'll disappear soon. Now that I'm back in Hinamizawa, sometimes I wonder who I was back in Ibaraki. In fact, I think I wasn't myself from the moment I left. And now, by coming back here, I've finally regained my true self. I can hardly remember what I was like back in Ibaraki. Well, it's probably because of the red medicine. The medicine erased all my painful memories. Maybe that was for the best. I just wanted to be forgiven back then. I couldn't forgive my mother. I couldn't forgive Uncle Akihito. And more than anybody, I couldn't forgive myself. I wanted someone to acknowledge that I wasn't at fault. I wanted to be forgiven. So Oishiro-sama apologized. She told me I wasn't at fault because it was the curse of Oishiro-sama. That's how I was able to forgive myself. I didn't have to die by tearing my blood vessels out of my body. I think people have to die because they become corrupted. That's why people try their hardest not to dirty themselves all their lives. But I'm still living, despite how dirty I am. I've been allowed to live. Is there still some filth left on me? Or am I all clean? I don't know. The only thing I know is that the me who lived in Ibaraki and the me who's here right now are two different people. I no longer feel the need to take responsibility by ripping myself apart because of the filth. After arranging some furniture and unpacking some boxes, we finally had dinner. Although I hardly remember Hinamizawa, my father remembers things very clearly.
お父さんたちがひなみ沢に住んでた頃にもあったんだけど、今は綿流しという行事がとても大きなお祭りになってるらしい。
Although it was around when we lived here before, the Watanagashi festival has grown huge these days.
6月の終わり頃にあるらしいね。
It's held at the end of June.
綿流し？
Watanagashi?
お父さんも見たことないんでわからないんだけど、体についた汚れを綿に吸い取らせて沢に流す行事らしい。
I've never seen it myself, so I don't know too much about it, but supposedly people let cotton absorb the filth in their bodies and drift it down the stream. Absorb the filth.
汚れって流してしまえるものなんだね。
You can wash your filth down the stream, huh?
そりゃそうだ。
Of course.
人間は罪深い生き物だからね。
Humans are sinners.
生きてるだけで日々汚れが我が身に降り積もっていくものなんだそうだ。
As we live every day, filth piles up on our bodies, supposedly.
それを年に1回、体をお掃除するように綿に吸い取ってもらって捨ててしまおうということらしいよ。
And once a year, we get rid of the filth by letting the cotton absorb it. People become burdened with filth and sin by doing something bad. Court sentences can settle your crimes legally, but that doesn't mean the burden of sin, of the filth, will just go away. In other words, human hands can't erase human filth in this human world. The filth is something humans can't get rid of, and that's why we need a god from a different world to do that. That's what I thought. But I'm surprised to learn about Watanagashi. Human hands erasing human filth in the human world, letting the cotton absorb the filth and drifting it down the stream. That means it's okay to live in this world. I tried to commit suicide because I couldn't forgive myself. Oishiro-sama apologized to me and told me to come back to Hinamizawa. And now, here in Hinamizawa, there's this Watanagashi, a ceremony to get rid of filth. This isn't just a coincidence. Hinamizawa is a place to wash away your filth. It forgives sins. It is a place of forgiveness.
そういうのをな、みそぎって言うんだ。
It's called a purification ceremony.
あ、言葉だけは聞いたことあるかな。
I've heard of those before.
日本文化というものは、汚れというものにものすごく厳格だろ。
Japanese culture is very strict about filth.
汚れを残したまま表舞台にとどまることを許さない。
You aren't allowed to remain in the spotlight if you accumulate too much.
ほら、政治家や社長で汚職があるとすぐに辞職するのもそういうことだ。
See? That's the reason why politicians and company presidents resign immediately once people find out about their dirty deeds.
汚れた人は表舞台を去らなければならない。
You must leave the spotlight if you're filthy. Now that reminds me of I know there's obviously many examples, especially with Japanese culture and stuff, but that reminds me, what was it recently? There was some either voice actor or likeness that's used in the Yakuza series. They ended up hopefully I'm remembering this correctly, but they were basically arrested or something with due to possession of some kind of drug or something. And then because of that, they were like, well, we're gonna drop out of the Yakuza series because of that. But here in the States, you get you get caught with drugs, and you kind of, if you're a certain type of celebrity, and then you can just kind of bounce back a bit. It's no big deal. You can have a career resurgence. Just give it a little bit of time. So yeah, we read this.
悪く言うと、汚れを誰か一人に押し付けて隕石させるわけだな。
To put it in a bad way, the filth is basically pushed onto someone else, and they're held responsible for it. Sins and filth must be removed. That's why people push them onto someone else and then try to get rid of the filth by sacrificing that person. But if that's the case, every time that filth is created, people will try to pass around responsibility for it. Oh, hit the wrong button. That's awfully hideous. It's almost like seeing demons in the human world. That's why they came up with the idea of letting the cotton absorb all the filth. By doing so, people can live without making someone else take on all the responsibility, sins, and filth. Putting everyone's sins onto someone and then killing that person makes that person a sacrifice. Who wants to be a sacrifice? That's why they desperately push their sins around. A purification ceremony is about replacing the human sacrifice with a non-human one. The purification ceremony dramatically changed Japanese culture. Before then, people always believed someone had to become a sacrifice. In other words, even with filth, everyone can live without blaming someone else. Filth can be forgiven by a method other than death. Only an existence higher than humans can forgive them. I was forgiven by Oshiro-sama and came back to this place. Towad Nagashi, purification ceremony that exists here. Letting cotton absorb the filth and drifting it away. There's no need for a sacrifice. That's why I've been allowed to live. The filthy me has drifted away, so the me that remains is no longer Reina Ryugu. If I'm not Reina, then who am I? If I'm without film, or filth, without all the icky things, who am I? A name vaguely appeared in my head. My new name. That only removes one of the letters from Reina, but I think it's a cute name. All the icky things that are erased and forgiven with the removal of that one letter. So my name is no longer Reina. My name is... Reina. Your name is not Sora. It's Roxas. You must add an X to your name and scramble those letters. Alright, so I'm gonna say Reina Ryugu. I'm gonna say Reina moves back to Higurashi. To Hinamazawa. I'm gonna say something filth. And then chooses name Rina. So Rina moves back to Hinamazawa, something filth, and then chooses name Rina. Very good. Alright, so awareness of his sins. The Ryu family's move is required. So yeah, new wind and formation of club are probably going to be our next two. Easy. Dare I attempt? I'm feeling good. No doubts. School is the children's world. The values of grown-ups don't apply. Children decide their own values and create their own world. So the rules of the grown-up world of the village don't mean anything here. Even when the villagers badmouth the Hojo family and try to isolate them, that has no meaning at our school. In the children's world, children decide the rules. Rules they think are irrational don't exist here. That's why, as a representative for the children here, I vow that I will never let any irrational rules come into our world. Within the school, no harassment is allowed towards the Hojo siblings. In the very beginning, some boys teased Satoko, but they were punished severely and it hasn't happened ever since. That's the least I can do to resist the madness of the village. So I hope Satoshi and Satoko both feel that the school is a safe place for them. Satoshi must notice my concern because he often smiles when he's here. However, I never see Satoko smile. Satoko's classmates used to try to cheer her up, but soon after, they decided that it was best just to leave her alone. I used to try to talk to her, but when I realized something, I stopped doing that. I'm a member of the Sonozaki family. To Satoko, I'm one of her enemies, so I'm sure she feels uncomfortable to have me around her. All I can do is watch over her. That's why Satoko is alone in the classroom. That said, Rika-chan is always hanging around with her, even though Satoko told her she was annoying. Satoshi, too, is always beside her. These two are the only ones who remain by her side. It isn't limited to Satoko, of course. The malicious isolation is still continuing towards the Hojo family. Because their hysterical aunt is so hostile towards her neighbors, there's nobody who sympathizes with her. It's wise to know there are fights worth picking and also fights better set aside. If the aunt had even a little tolerance or self-control, this isolation wouldn't have continued. Of course, the villagers were the ones who forced them onto that role, even though they weren't related to the issue. But if she had stayed quiet, then it wouldn't have gone so far. The aunt's hostility is one thing, but she's dragging everyone in the family into it as well. The uncle and aunt haven't been getting along, and he hardly comes home. Both Satoshi and Satoko are forced to live in shame. The aunt vents her stress by harassing Satoko. This was the same too. The aunt is her guardian after all, but Satoko doesn't even try to hide her disgust, so things aren't going smoothly between them. If she had behaved like Satoshi, then she wouldn't have been made into a target. So does that mean the sad life Satoko is living right now is something she caused herself? No, it doesn't. But no matter how much I sympathize and how much I want to help her, nobody knows what to do. An apology won't change the situation. The flow can't be reversed. The fact that the Hojo family is ostracized by the entire village can't be changed. That's the horribleness lurking underneath our lives. The neighbors, the village, and the community. Once they become your enemies, the world can become so cruel. Japanese people have known that since ancient times, which is why we cultivated empathy and an obligation to show courtesy to one's neighbors. No matter who I blame, Satoko won't smile. So the only thing I can do is to watch over her and make sure that she's safe when she's at school.
ありがとう
Thank you,
ミオン
Mion.
え
Eh?
ごめん、何？
Sorry, what?
うんうん
Hmm.
貞子にいつも気を使ってくれてありがとうって
I just want to thank you for being so concerned about Satoko. Satoshi kind of appears absent-minded, but sometimes he says things as if he can read your thoughts. I tried to deny it since it's out of character for me, but he smiled as if he could tell exactly what I was thinking.
貞子は笑顔の浮かべ方を忘れてしまっただけなんだよ
Satoko's just forgotten how to smile.
学校にいる時は本当に少しだけ肩の力を抜ける時間を得られてる
When she's at school, she can let go of a little tension for a while.
それはきっと貞子にとってとても優しい時間になってるって思ってるよ
I'm sure she treasures that time.
おじさんが気を使えるのはせいぜいこの程度だしね。
That's basically the only thing this old man could do for her.
そんなことないよ
That's not true.
僕も感謝してるよ
I really appreciate it.
よしてよ。
Stop that.
感謝されることなんかない
You're
って。
embarrassing me. You don't need to say that.
迷惑かけてるのは多分うちなんだしさ。
Besides, my family is the one who's causing all this grief.
そんなこと思ってないよ
I don't think that way.
全然
I really don't. I'm not good at reading people's subtle cues, but I know for sure what he just said is a lie. Satoshi knows that he and his family are being isolated because of the Sonozakis, and he's, of course, aware that I'm a member of the Sonozaki family too. Satoshi is mature, and that's the only reason he doesn't take it out on me. If he had the same temper as his aunt, he would hate me bitterly. Knowing that, the least I can do is not get close to them. But I'm a meddlesome person, and when I see Satoko looking depressed or Satoshi forcing himself to smile, I have to do something. That might be even more troublesome to Satoshi and Satoko, though.
私、聡子の気持ちを全然理解してないのかな。
Maybe I just don't understand Satoko's feelings.
どうして
Why?
聡子が辛い思いをしてる一番の原因はうちにある。
My family is causing Satoko grief.
そこの娘の私が聡子の周りをうろちょろすることはその空気の読めてないことなのかなって。
So for me, a member of that family, to hang around her, is that the right thing to do?
そんなことはないよ
Sure.
ミオンはそれくらいがちょうどいいと思うけどな
That's you being you.
何よそれ。
What do you mean by that?
私は無神経な方がぴったりだって言うの？
Are you saying I'm insensitive?
うんそういう意味じゃないよ
I don't mean that.
その空気というのが貞子から笑顔を奪っているのなら
If this atmosphere itself is robbing Satoko of her smile,
そんな空気なんか全然気にしない人じゃなきゃ貞子に笑顔は戻せないって思ってるから
then only someone who can completely ignore it can bring her smile back.
うまいこと言ってるけど、さりげなくおじさんのことバカにしてるでしょ。
This old man can't tell if you're trying to compliment him or not.
ひどいな。
You're mean.
バカにしてなんかいないよ。
I'm not ridiculing you, really.
助けてほしいだけなんだよ。
I just want you to help.
え
Eh?
僕一人の力じゃ聡子に笑顔は戻せない。
I can't make Satoko smile again by myself.
ミオンみたいな力強い人の助けがいるんだよ。
I need someone like you to help me.
でも
But
私園崎家のミオンだよ。
I'm Mion Sonozaki, you know?
私なんかが無神経なことやったらかえって聡子を傷つけるかも。
If I do something insensitive, I might end up hurting Satoko even more.
その空気が聡子を一人ぼっちにしているのに。
Satoko is already lonely.
だからミオンも聡子を一人ぼっちにするのかい。
Are you going to leave her alone too? This is the first time Satoshi has asked me for something so aggressively. Satoko is a very important person to him. He's saying he needs my help to make her smile again. But still, no. Maybe he's right. What's going on between the Sonozaki family and the Hojo family is an issue among the grown-ups. We children don't need to care about that. The irrational rules of the grown-ups don't mean anything in our world. So, I have to object to the irrationality of the grown-up world using methods of my own.
聡子は本当に私のこと迷惑に思わないかな。
Are you sure Satoko won't feel bothered by me?
初めは少しは思うかもしれない。
She may, at first.
でも僕も一緒だから。
But I'll be with you.
ミオンと一緒だから。
I'll be with you, Mion.
すぐに打ち解けるよ。
So she'll open up right away.
そうかな。
You think so?
今日学校が終わったら聡子を遊びに誘ってみる？
Should we do something after school today?
家に帰るとおばさんにいろいろ言われて表に出られなくなってしまうかもしれない。
If we go home first, our aunt may say something and we might not be able to leave.
なら簡単だね。
Okay, then it's simple.
家に帰らずに遊べばいいんだ。
Don't go home first.
でも帰りがあまりにも遅くなると何の道草を食っていたんだと。
But if we get home too late, she'll ask us what we were doing.
ならさ、あれだあれだ。
Let's see. I know.
部活動に加わったっていうのはどう？
Why don't you join a club?
部活？
A club?
うん。
Yeah.
部活ってことにして学校で遊んでから帰ればいいじゃん。
Tell her you're going to an after-school club. Tell her that you're doing something after school before going home.
だって学校から帰らないでそのまま遊んでる男の子だって大勢いるんだしね。
There are plenty of people who go out after school before they go home.
全然問題ないよ。
That'll be no problem.
でも服を汚すとまたおばさんに。
But if we mess up our clothes, our aunt will say,
ならさ、アウトドアじゃなくてインドア中心にすればいいわけよ。
okay, then we'll do something indoors.
それなら服も汚れないしね。
Then your clothes will stay clean.
インドアってことは教室？
Indoors? Do you mean in the classroom?
でもあんまり暴れると千恵先生に。
But wouldn't Chie Sensei say something?
インドアで暴れずに。だけれども熱く遊ぶことは可能なんだよ。
It's possible to play passionately while not going wild indoors.
おじさん、こう見えてもゲームが大好きでね。
Contrary to my appearance, I love playing games.
海外ものの貴重なものとか結構集めてたりするのさ。
I've collected some treasures from overseas too.
マニュアルが英語だったり難しかったりで対戦してくれる相手がいなくて死蔵しちゃってるのが多いんだけどね。
Some of the mutuals are, mutuals. Some of the manuals are written in English and are a little complicated, while with some of them I need someone to play with, so a lot of them are just sitting in the storage room.
それ聡子にも遊べるかな？
Do you think Satoko can play those too?
もちろん。
Sure.
ルールなんてね、わかんなかったらその場で作っちゃえばいいんだよ。
If you don't know the rules, then you just make them up.
全員が同じルールに従う以上、どんなルールだったって公平なんだからね。
As long as everyone's following the same rules, it's totally okay. I said it so confidently, but would bringing games from home and asking Satoko to play with us actually make her smile again? What have I got to lose? Maybe I'll bring one of the board games tomorrow.
あとさ、
Oh. Also, Mion?
相談があるんだけど。
I have something else I want to ask you.
何？
What?
おじさんで乗れる相談なら何でも聞いてよ。
This old man is all ears.
僕、アルバイトを探してるんだ。
I'm looking for a part-time job.
サトコを元気づけるのに、誕生日に素敵なプレゼントをしたら喜ぶかなって思って。
I thought if I could get her a nice birthday present, that might make her feel better. Work time. All right, so the notes on this one is super simple. Club formation, and then for our purposes, side job, because I know that was a requirement for one of the fragments. Side job for Satoshi. Wow, I spelled Satoshi wrong so bad. I started to spell Satoshi like Stallone, like S-T, and then I was like, wait, what? What's the question? Does this version combine all the chapters? Do you mean like chapters 1 through 8 that we're doing? If you mean like that, if you're asking like that, then no, I technically bought a while back. I bought all the chapters separately. Like individually, if that makes sense. It wasn't that bad though. I mean, I at the time when I pulled the gun on them, because I knew I was going to do Higurashi then after I did Umineko last year, and so it was basically just like I just waited for a decent sale, and then I was just bought them all individually and then modded them all individually. All right, we only have, I mean, really, if we don't count these last page here, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Pretty good. Okay, let's keep it going then. Yeah, this is the, this is modded with the highly regarded 7th mod, or 7th, whatever. I forget exactly what it is, but it's the console sprites. This was something obviously discussed a long time ago, but I'm much more, call me lame as hell or whatever, but I appreciate the console sprites way more than the original original art, or the, even, I guess, depending on how you call it, whatever you want to call it, the like the pachinko sprites or whatever. So I've already finished the game? No. This is, I mean, we're in chapter 8, but this is my first time reading it ever. So we're far into it, but... Alright, so Toмотake, we haven't had any inclination of a fever from him. Whoa, I moved it. I think, then, what did I say? New wind? New wind. Notice? Footsteps. Part-time job, but not the footsteps following Satoshi, so that's probably going to happen soon. Jiro Toмотake. Alright, I'm pretty sure it's going to be new wind. I'm going to save. Save for safety. But I'm pretty sure we're going to new wind here now. We got the watermelon way earlier, and then Ryugu's family moved just recently. Easy. Okay, I'll get going. Thank you. Don't mention it. Oh, my Ori voice. come back anytime, okay?
ただい
Hi, I'm home.
ま。あれ、ヒロシおじさん。
Hey, Uncle Hiroshi.
お久しぶりです。
Long time no see.
おお、ミヨンちゃ
Hey, Mion-chan.
ん。今帰りかい。
Are you going home?
おじさんは今から送迎だよ。
I have to give my clients a ride.
送迎？
A ride?
ああ、不動産屋さんのお仕事？
Ah, you're talking about your realtor business, huh? The Sonozaki family is one of the largest landowners here in the Hinamazawa area. However, since all the land is out here in the countryside, it just ends up sitting there. Recently, land owned by the Sonozaki family was put on sale in lots. At the family meeting, some of our relatives opposed the idea by saying we shouldn't sell off land that was handed down from our ancestors. But Granny snapped and shut them right up. Some of the unused fields were made into vacant lots and released for public sale. Actually, I had some questions about it too. The Sonozaki family is very wealthy. We have plenty of land as well as money. So why did we have to sell it off? What's more surprising to me is that Granny was the one who came up with the idea. I would have thought she'd get furious if someone even mentioned something like that.
じゃあね、駅前に寄った時はぜひ遊びにおいでよ。
Okay, if you're ever near the station, be sure to stop by.
麦茶くらいごちそうするから。
I'll treat you to a cup of barley tea.
はい、ありがとうございます。
Sure, thank you very much.
お仕事はどんな感じですか？
So how's your business going?
都会の人が案外興味を持ってくれたからびっくりだわ。
I'm surprised there are actually city folks who are interested.
便利な都会に住みながら、わざわざこんな田舎に別荘が持ちたい小金持ちばっかりだね。
It must be those nouveau rich types who live in the big city and also want a house in the countryside.
やれやれ、物好きなことで。
Well, I guess some people are curious.
一軒、別荘じゃなくて、引っ越しで検討されてるお宅があったね。
There's one family seeking to move here, not purchase a villa.
アトリエが持ちた
Oh,
いと
there's
か言っ
one
てたか
family.
ら、
Yeah.
画家さんとかかね。
Said he wants to build a studio, so he must be an artist of some sort.
へえ。
Oh? It's catchy. It's the Maibara family.
そりゃすごいや。
That's great.
おっと、いけねえわ。
Oh, gosh.
じゃあ、おじさんはバスに戻るわ。
I better go now. Supposedly, he planned a tour to show them lots, and he's the one driving the bus. It should be about time for the tour and explanations to end. He left in a hurry.
ねえ、聞いていい？
Hey, can I ask you something?
よそ者嫌いのバッチャがさ、どうしてわざわざ分譲地なんかにしたの？
Why did you want to sell our land? You don't like newcomers.
あたしゃよそ者なんか嫌いだし、都会者も大嫌いだ。
I don't like newcomers, and I don't like big city people either.
だが、村にゃ必要なんよ。
But the village needs them.
空気の入れ替えみたいなもんさな。
It's like ventilating a room.
外の人が来ることで何か村にいい影響があるっていうこと？
Is it good for the village to have new people move in?
こかい村だね。
This is a wonderful village.
今忙しい世の中だから、一日たりともそったしといとくらんかな。
But the village is changing quickly. But the world is changing quickly.
昔だったら10年20年住んでても何にも変わらん。変化のない静かな村だったんよ。
In the past, a very small change took 10 or even 20 years to happen. It's just such a quiet and unchanging village.
まあそれが田舎ってもんだしね。
Well, that's rural life.
この村じゃ昨日と今日と明日に何の違いもない。
In this village, nothing is different from yesterday and today.
私は退屈だけどね。
It's too boring for me, though.
でも友達ができたろ。
But you made a friend, didn't you?
外から竜宮のレナちゃんが引っ越してきて友達になってくれたんだろうが。
Rina Ryuchan moved here and you got along great.
近い年の友達ができて嬉しい言うとったがな。
You told me you were happy that you had a friend your age.
うん。
Yeah,
予期せぬ友達が突然できるのは楽しいね。
making friends unexpectedly is fun.
レナちゃんが来んとな。ミヨン、学校が 退屈だ退屈だ言うとったね。
I remember you saying that school is boring when Rina-chan is absent.
いやー覚えとる。
Do you remember that?
それが外から引っ越してくることによる効果だって言いたいわけ？
Are you saying that's the good thing about letting new people move here?
どんな寒い冬場にかてたまには換気をせんとな。いろりの悪い空気がたまって窒息しちまう。
No matter how cold it gets, you still have to ventilate your living space. Otherwise, it gets filled with bad air, and you'll suffocate to death.
寒くてしんどいな承知で窓をガラリと開けることもあるんよ。
You open the window even knowing the freezing cold air will come in.
外から人を迎えることが村の換気になる。
Letting outsiders move here is like ventilating the village?
ああ、なるん。
Sure.
そしてきれいな空気を入れて、私らみたいな悪い空気はとっとと追い出されるべきなんよ。
It lets fresh air in and gets rid of bad air like us. If I bring up the Hojo family, I know Granny will explode, so I won't. But I think what Granny is trying to say includes things like their ongoing isolation. Even now, when she remembers about what happened at that explanatory meeting, she gets really upset. But I guess even she feels that needs to come to an end. But, of course, she can't just say she'll forgive them. Not when she's at this stubborn age. She can't lose face by openly saying they need to be forgiven. Honestly, I think she's behaving like a little schoolgirl who actually likes a person but treats them rudely when they're around. Maybe people really do go back to being children when they get old enough. I'm not just talking about Granny. The same can be said about all the old people in the village. No, maybe I should say the evil around here. That must be what she meant by bad air. There's no use circulating the air in a closed room. Unless you open the windows and let fresh air in, the air in the room won't be purified.
実際に引っ越してくる人があるかはわからないけど、
We don't know if there's actually going to be people moving here.
その人にそこまでを期待しちゃうのは気の毒じゃない？
But don't you think you're expecting too much from whoever does?
レナちゃんが一人転校してきてもミオンは変わるね。
Just Rina-chan moving here changed you, Mion.
誰が引っ越してきてもきっと村は変わる。
Whoever moves here will change this village.
願わくばそれが元気な若者で、わしら年寄り連中が安心して村を任せられるくらい大暴れしてくれよると嬉しいんだが。
If possible, I hope some young and energetic people who have the charisma to lead will appear. Oh, that's such a fucking foreshadow, isn't it?
それこそ年寄り連中がもうやっとれんね、あの世に退散するわいうくらいにな。
They need to be the ones to put us old people away into heaven.
何それ？死んだおじいちゃんの話？
Are you thinking about Gramps?
あほんたれ、誰がじいさまの話をしたんよ。
Damn you. Nobody's thinking about him.
俺、お手伝いさん言って縁側のお茶を片付けさせてくれな。
Here, have the housekeeper put away the tea set on the veranda.
へいへい。
Okay, okay.
了解了解。
I will.
ミオン、
Mion.
ん？
Hmm?
北条聡が消えた日、
The day Satoshi Hojo disappeared.
お前、私に詰め寄ったろが。
You came to me, huh?
ああ、そんなこともしたね。
Yeah, I guess I did.
あたしゃな、
That is
あれで目が覚めたんよ。
what woke me up.
北条家がどうのこうのいう問題は、年寄り連中が死ねば時間が解決してくれるなんてんじゃあかんね。
This problem with the Hojo family. Can't just let time take care of it.
そんなの待たず、はよ解決せんとなあかん。
We have to take care of it ourselves as soon as possible.
でも自分にはそれができないから、
But you can't do it yourself.
よそ者にそれを託す。
So you're going to have an outsider take care of it?
それが私にできる精一杯だね。
That's the best I can do.
どんな悪い手札だって次のドローでいい札が入れば流れが変わるきっかけになることもある。
No matter how bad your hand is, the next card can change the flow of the game.
それに期待して山から札を引くのもありかもしれない。
So maybe it's a good idea to draw cards from the stack.
新しい風は見よ、お前らの世代になる。外の風を迎え入れたれな。
Your generation will be a new wind. Let that new wind come from the outside.
そしてお前は内からの風となって混じり合いながら村のよどみを吹き飛ばしてくれ。
And you'll be the wind from the inside. When both winds create a gale, the gust will blow away the stale air from the village. And other wind metaphors.
他力本願の極みだね。
That's the epitome of leaving your problems to others.
自分が火種を作ったくせに孫にその尻拭いをさせるとは。
You're the one who started the fire, and you're trying to have your grandchild take care of it.
そういいなや。
Oh, don't say that.
新しい風を新しいそのザキ家の当主として村に招き入れたれ。
As the new leader of the Sonozaki family, bring the new wind into the village.
それが次期当主の仕事だってんなら。
If you're saying that's my job as your successor,
頼むわ。
please,
みよ。
Mio.
あたしゃおいたね。
I'm too old.
もう憎まれ役しかできん。
The only thing I can do now is to be despised by people. The wind chime sounded quietly. Maybe that's a sign to let us know a cool breeze is on the way. Alright, so I'm gonna write in Maibara moves in. Now the interesting thing about that is that she made mention of Satoshi going away. So I think we're hitting like the upper limit of that stretch, yet I think there's things we need to see prior before we actually go into like Maibara moving in and everything. Does that make sense? I think we're like, we kind of, I don't want to say necessarily skipped, but I think there's like the stretch of the ant being killed that we need to see, and I think that probably starts with something like this, the deja vu. Yeah. The forgiveness. Footsteps in the 4th year. Footsteps. Part-time job. Oh, for the Satoshi Hojo's awareness of his sins, forgiveness of Rina Rigu's sins. It might be here. Footsteps, and then footsteps, footsteps here, notice of leave of absence. And then he probably gets a bat, and then he goes, does the thing. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so Maibara moves in, or is about to, but you get the note. T-set got put away. Put away. And then I'm going to also write young ones need to take over. Simple. Simple, easy, clean. Alright, I'm gonna save, and then I'm gonna do a BRB. We've done this for about 2 hours, so I can keep going tonight when I need to stretch and get some more water. So, I think we're going to do this. Footsteps in the 4th year next. In fact, I'll write it just in case I forget it between now and like 5 minutes during the BRB footsteps. In the 4th year. Grand. Okay. I'll be back. Give me like 5 minutes at most here. I'll be back very shortly. Alright, what are we doing? Footsteps, yeah? With like 85% confidence. My harsh and brutal days are still continuing without end. The situation between my aunt and Satoko remains the same. My aunt yells at Satoko for no reason every night. Although Satoko cries, she still talks back to her. So my aunt's yelling goes on and on forever. Satoko's crying goes on and on too. When Satoko sees me, she grabs onto me. She hides behind my back and tries to ignore my aunt's yelling. She always comes to seek my help. Satoko doesn't open up to anyone but me. So if I don't protect her, she'll be devastated. That's security is something our parents don't grant to Satoko. I have to be the one to provide it. Or didn't. Our parents didn't provide. Right? Didn't grant. Yeah. But every day, day after day, every time Satoko cries, every day, day after day, Satoko grabbed onto me while crying yesterday. I patted her head, but along with pity, a different emotion came to me. I wanted to grasp her head and smash her again. Oh my god. I wanted to grasp her head and smash her against the wall with an unbelievably devilish and awful emotion. Yikes. No. I can't think of that. No, it's not that I can't think it. I just can't acknowledge that feeling. Since that day, there has been someone else inside of me. That someone is trying to eat me up from the inside and switch places with me. When Satoko begs for my help while crying, that person tries to make me spill out some awful and hateful words that are sure to damage Satoko forever. Leave me alone. Don't grab onto me. Go away. No. I can't. To prevent him from taking over my body, I clenched my stomach and drove him out. I managed to do that. But that wasn't it. That person is coming after me, trying to get back inside of me. I won't let such a scary thing get back inside of me. He knows there's no room to slip into my heart as long as I keep it held shut like this. So, he stopped trying and instead is following right behind me. He's waiting for me to let my guard down. When I walk, he walks right behind me. He's breathing down my neck. He follows me everywhere, and when I lie down, he stares down at me. He's waiting for the right moment to jump back inside of me so he can hurt Satoko. It's been so hot lately. Maybe the heat is getting to me, and that's why I think things like this. I'm the only family Satoko has, so I'll have to protect her from my aunt for the rest of my life. It's my eternal duty. The rest of my life? Forever? Do I really have to do that forever? If only Satoko. But I'm her only family. But it's because of my aunt. But it's because of the villagers, too. It's almost Watanagashi. Some irresponsible people are saying that the curse will once again fall upon Hinamizawa. They're also saying it'll fall upon me and Satoko for sure. Maybe it's just my imagination, but lately the villagers expecting it are giving me especially sharp looks. I feel like I'll be killed on the day of Watanagashi. Of course, there's no reason why I would be killed, it's just my imagination. Pat. Don't come inside of me. Sorry. Satoko is my only sister in my family, so don't tell me about those awful things. Pat. Stop. Don't come this way. The footsteps come up right behind me, and the hand touched me on the shoulder. Oh! Oh, Rina.
大丈夫かな
Are you okay?
かな
Are you? I must have been acting weird. Rina looked worried. Her name was Rina Ryugu. She just moved here and transferred to my school. Nobody remembers her, but supposedly she lived here in Hinamizawa a long time ago. In fact, she hardly remembers anything about Hinamizawa either. Since Mion is the only other classmate who is my age, I'm glad she's my friend. She usually carries on happily alongside Mion, but occasionally she shows more feminine consideration.
具合悪いの？
Are you feeling okay?
保健室で休んだ方がいいんじゃないかな。
Do you want me to take you to the nurse's office?
かな。
Do you?
ありがとう。
Thank you.
大丈夫だよ。
I'm okay.
僕、そんなにも具合が悪そうだったかい？
Do I look sick or something?
うん。
Yep. Her immediate answer made me realize I wasn't myself.
さとこちゃんのことで心配事？
Is it about Satoko-chan? Are you worried?
いや、そういうわけじゃないんだよ。
No, that isn't it. She knows that my problem isn't physical, but a mental one. This is just something I think to myself, but even though Rina seems like a very easygoing person, maybe she's more perceptive than she appears.
レナは転校してきたばかりだから頼りないかもしれないけど、
Since I just transferred here recently, I may not be able to help much,
話を聞くことはできるからね。
but I can at least listen.
きっと聞いてあげるだけでも少しは心が軽くなると思うから。
Sometimes talking can help. Although she just transferred, she already knows quite a bit about me and my sister, and also about the situation with the villagers. But talking about it won't solve anything. Actually, if I talk about it, I feel like I'd be admitting to my weaknesses, or my weakness, which might give that person a chance to get inside me again.
さっき声をかけたらすごく驚いたでしょ？
You were so surprised just now.
そんなにも考え事をしてるならきっと辛い悩みなんだろうなって思って。
That's why I thought something really serious was bothering you.
はあ、
How?
それは、
Oh, that.
なぜか最近、誰かにずっと後をつけられているような錯覚がしてね。
Lately, I feel like someone is following me all the time.
ひたひた、ペタペタ。
Pit pat, or pit pit pat pat.
だから、それかと思って。
I thought that was you.
ごめん。
Sorry.
僕は一体何を言ってるんだか。
I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore.
足音
Footsteps.
ついてくるの？
Following you?
え？
私その足音
I
知ってる。
I know those. I know those footsteps. Alright, so I'm gonna write Satoshi has intrusive thoughts. Discusses footsteps with Rina. Perfect. Part-time job, so a notice of leave of absence is probably next. So we're in the, I think we're in the Satoshi track right now, right? Like I said, to gear towards the murder of the ants. And I think then that's going to bounce back then towards this Takano deal. And then that then goes into line with Kechi moving in. And then we start all this shit. You guys see? A notice of leave of absence. Let me write that. A notice.
そうですか。
Hold up, Irie. A notice of leave of absence. Alright, he says, Irie says, I see.
いえいえ、届けなんていりません。
No, you don't need to do that.
サトシ君は我がひなみ沢ファイターズの頼もしい選手なんですからね。
You're a promising member of the Hinamizawa Fighters.
席はちゃんと開けてあります。
We'll save your spot.
いつでも戻ってきていいんですからね。
So you can come back anytime, okay?
わかりません。
I don't know about that though.
当分は戻ってこれないと思うので、一度退部にしてもらった方がいいと思いまして。
I have no idea when I can come back, so I thought I should resign at least for now. Sachi-kun says he wants to quit the Hinamizawa fighters. I know very well of Sachi-kun and Satoko-chan's situation, so I was expecting that he might say this. The relationship between Satoko-chan and her aunt has gotten worse, to the point that it can be considered abuse. When someone from the Child Consultation Center came, of course her aunt behaved herself. Then immediately after, her harassment turned even more vicious. According to the neighbors, the aunt's scolding and Satoko-chan's crying can be heard nightly, and sometimes goes on past midnight. Satoko-chan's weekly physical checkup results are slowly growing worse, and we're trying to keep her stable by increasing her medication. But unless her relationship with her aunt improves, she's sure to go terminal and sink into madness. Although she isn't the type to become deranged, even at the terminal stage. She's the type who holds everything in, harboring her insanity inside. Just like she pushed her parents off the cliff 2 years ago, Satoko-chan may kill her aunt. Thanks to the mountain dogs, the incident was resolved as an accident, and Oishi stepped aside, although he is still suspicious. If something like that happens again around Satoko-chan, he's sure to investigate her mercilessly. I can't do anything more about Satoko-chan's environment changing for worse, so I'm not surprised to hear that Sachi-kun wants to quit the baseball team so he can be with his sister more.
実は僕、アルバイトを始めるんです。
Actually, I'm starting a part-time job.
それで、あまり野球に出られなくて。
That's why I can't come to practice.
アルバイトですか。
A part-time job?
何か買いたいものでもあるんですか。
Is there something you want to buy?
はい。
Yes.
もうすぐ、サトコの誕生日なんです。
It's almost Satoko's birthday.
サトコが欲しがっているぬいぐるみがあるので、それをプレゼントしてやりたいと思いまして。
There's a teddy bear Satoko has been looking at, and I want to get it for her. That's right. I remember the birth date on her insurance card. I think it's June 24th. Ooh, so close to my birthday. Right after the Watnagashi festival.
そうですか。
I see.
サトシ君は本当に妹思いのお兄さんですね。
You're such a good brother.
それはきっとサトコちゃんも喜んでくれるでしょう。
I'm sure Satoko-chan will be thrilled.
喜んでくれると
I hope so.
嬉しいです。
I can tell Sachi-kun is also stressed out. To him, seeing Satoko-chan being harassed is the same thing as being harassed himself. His stress can be released through moderate exercise such as sports and also with plenty of rest. If Satoko-chan is being yelled at nightly, then it's easy to figure out that Sachi-kun isn't getting enough sleep either. I don't know what kind of job he's starting, but I don't think he'll be able to vent his stress on it. In fact, I don't like the idea of Sachi-kun taking a part-time job because he's already so worn out in every other way. Or, worn out in every way. I asked him if he wanted me to help him pay for the present, but of course he declined the offer. It's a present from him, so he wants to earn the money himself. He's taken this part-time job only to earn enough money to buy Satoko-chan's present, so it'll be a temporary thing. If it's for a short period of time, maybe it won't be that bad. While I want to stop him from working because I don't want him to get even more stressed, since he says Satoko-chan's birthday is near, I don't think I can stop him. Sachi-kun is determined. If I say any more, I may lose his trust. So I'll just have to accept his leave of absence.
そうだ、
Oh,
監督。
coach?
バットを一本借りていってもいいですか？
Can I maybe borrow a bat? I completely misunderstood his words. Later I found out he carried around that bat to protect himself, and realized that, even then, he was already showing some dangerous symptoms. He believed there would be a fourth mysterious death this year, and that he would be the victim. He became obsessed with the idea that someone was after his life. That is a symptom of Hinamizawa syndrome's terminal stage. But although I was involved so deeply with the syndrome, I was careless.
バットですか。
A bat?
はて、何に使うんですか。
What do you need a bat for? Sachi-kun had his own bat, so he should have asked if he could take it home, but instead he asked if he could borrow it. When I think about it now, he said it that way to lighten his guilty conscience, but how could I have known then?
いえ、その
Well...
野球にはそんなに来れなくなりますけど、でもきっと一人で素振りの練習をするくらいの時間は 取れると思うので。
Although I can't come to practice, I think I'll have a little time to practice swinging on my own.
それはいいですね。
That's great.
そういうことならぜひ持って行ってください。
Sure, please take it with you.
素振りをするときは十分周りを確認して危険がないよう注意してからやってくださいね。
But make sure you do it in an open space, okay?
ご近所迷惑でなければタイヤを吊るしてそれを打つのもいい練習になるでしょう。
If it won't bother your neighbors, it's good practice to hit a hanging tire. Swinging a bat can release stress, so letting him take his bat home will help. That's what I thought. But that was a huge mistake. I realized it only when things were already past the point of no return. Dope. Dope. Oh, Irie. Alright, a notion of leave of absence. Satoshi quits baseball. Asks for bat. Irie doesn't see the signs. I saw the signs, and it opened up my eyes. I am happy now, living without you. I saw the signs. I don't know the rest of the words. I don't know any more words to the song, unfortunately. Or maybe fortunately, depending on how you look at that. Well, we've got the needed bat. Bum 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 bum. Preview of lots for sale. Then that's that. That's to that. So we're gonna go Death of Satoshi's Aunt, and then we're gonna go the Fourth Sacrifice. And then it's gonna be did we technically C17? I think we could have gone this route. What am I like? We'll do, just to be on the safe side, we'll do preview of lots. Preview of lots for sale. But then I think it's going to be Kishimaibara. And I am pretty confident we probably could have gone now this route of completion of that medicine. We probably then have a mention of like the slight fever for Toмотake or Kazumi Sensei dying, and then it's these, right? I imagine that's the case, but it's fine. Here we go. Death of Satoshi's Aunt. We were prepared to respond quickly this year. Oh, it's back with Oishi, isn't it? That was why we were able to start the investigation immediately by securing the crime scene. The victim is the wife of the younger brother of the Hojo couple, so she's an extremely suitable target for the fourth year's curse of Oishiro-sama. She has a horrible reputation among the locals. After the incident, everyone said she deserved to be cursed. I have a general idea of who the culprit must be. It's probably Satoshi Hojo, that innocent-looking kid. There's even a motive. The deceased abused his sister relentlessly, so this would be in revenge for that. Also, when he attended the inspection of the crime scene, he was rather frantic, yet also far too composed, as if he was totally unrelated to the incident. My intuition from many years of police work tells me that the 8 or 9 times out of 10, someone who acts like this is the perp. I have no concrete proof, but if I question him and shake him up a bit, I have a feeling he'll confess.
これだけ仏をめった打ちにしていれば、星も返り血を少なからず浴びたものと思います。
For the victim to be so beaten up, the culprit must have some blood on him as well. Must have some blood on him as well.
そいつが見つけられれば決め手になりそうですね。
If we can find that, then we'll have proof.
まあよっぽどの間抜けでなけりゃ処分してるでしょうがね。
Unless he's a complete fool, I'm sure he's already gotten rid of it by now.
犯行を認めた後に捨てたと称する場所から発見できれば検察も納得してくれるでしょう。
If we can find any in the place he says he disposed disposed it in after he fesses up, then we can convince the prosecutor too. This is pretty insignificant as a standalone case. A confession from Sachi Hojo would end it. Everyone except me must believe that. But if I look at it as part of the series of mysterious deaths, it won't be so easy. Either the 3 families of the village, or the Sonozaki family alone is directly involved in this. If they are the ones pulling the strings, they must have instigated Sachi Hojo into committing this crime. If so, Sachi Hojo is someone who knows way too much about them. The Sonozaki family's actions must remain hidden. If he could connect them to the crime, would they let him run around freely? Sachi Hojo is a loving brother who cares very much for his sister, and they set him up to kill his aunt as the 4th year's curse. After that, they will eliminate the one person who can connect them to the crime. Sachi Hojo is not just a simple criminal. He was set up. And after that, my suspicions were confirmed, for he abruptly vanished. He disappeared in such a puzzling way. He didn't run because he was afraid that his crime had come to light. Another culprit came into the picture. He was already arrested for a different crime, and furthermore, he died while in prison. He confessed to information only the culprit himself would have known. Therefore, he must be the culprit. But as he's already dead, the investigation was closed. Then, Sachi Hojo disappeared a few days after the festival. It's obvious someone doesn't want Sachi Hojo to be connected to this incident. My boss put pressure on me to close the investigation and file Sachi Hojo's disappearance as a separate incident. He even handled the case over to a different section. The way this case is closing so rapidly greatly resembles the same trick used 2 years ago with the Hojo couple's accident. There's no doubt it's the work of someone who can put pressure on the police. As it happens, the Sonozaki family is the only one who can actually exact influence on the police department here in the Hinamazawa area. They may think their trails are covered, but this points towards them more clearly than anything. According to my informant, Oryu Sonozaki mentioned the 4th year's curse at the family meeting and hinted that she was the one behind it all. Hinting isn't strong enough evidence, but there is no mistaking that Oryu Sonozaki is the one pulling the strings. I know they're the ones who did in the old man, but I just can't grab them. The principal offender is still on the loose, but I'm sure he's being sheltered somewhere by the Sonozaki family. I have to locate him and find that missing right arm. I'll return the arm to his grave and make the principal offender and the masterminds both bow down before it. However, just like how Sachi Hojo disappeared, it's possible the principal offender has already been eliminated. I bet he's already been killed and buried somewhere nobody can find. If that's the case, then that's fine. I'll make the old bag who ordered someone to kill the old man slam her forehead on the ground before his grave. This, I swear. After the 4th year's curse, people are already saying something will happen again next year. Even with all my preparations, I couldn't prevent the incident from happening this time. It's too late if something happens. I must keep my eyes on the core of the village before something takes place. There's a reason why I have to get to the bottom of this by next year. Because I'm retiring. My mother has been wanting to go back to her hometown in Hokkaido, and for a long time she's been asking me to move there when I retire. I feel that's the least I can do for her, so I agreed to move to Hokkaido when I retire. So next year is my last chance to avenge the old man's death. It happened 4 years in a row, so more than likely, there'll be a 5th curse too. As a result of the series of mysterious deaths, the village has been tightly knit together since the dam protests. They were told that betrayers will be punished in the name of the curse. To the masterminds, that's enough reason to continue with the series of mysterious deaths. According to rumors, this year's victim, the aunt, was cursed because she didn't participate in the Watanagashi festival. So there are villagers who believe that if they don't participate in next year's Watanagashi, they'll be cursed. It'll be a huge festival next year for sure. Something will happen. The series of mysterious deaths in Hinamazawa, also known as the Curse of Oishiro-sama. It will avenge the old man. I definitely will. Okay. I'm writing Aunt dies. Satoshi runs. I mean, really, this was a lot of stuff we've already known for a long time. Aunt dies, Satoshi runs. Someone else takes the fall. Someone else takes the fall. Oishi, I'm gonna write Oishi is determined. Look at that clean page. All right, the fourth sacrifice, yeah. The village was in an uproar, because the fourth mysterious death in a row, which everyone believed would happen, actually did. Satsuko-chan's aunt was killed. All villagers feel rather satisfied about this incident, saying the curse finally fell on her for being a local troublemaker. But I know the truth. When I saw the beaten up body at the crime scene, I knew Satoshi-kun was responsible for it. Her abuse towards Satsuko-chan was getting worse and worse. Satoshi-kun wanted to protect her, so he brought home a baseball bat. All the signs were there, so I didn't even need to hear it from Satoshi-kun. Yet I couldn't avoid questioning myself. I felt bad for the Hojo siblings, who had no one on their side, so I tried to be their ally. In the end, I failed to be any help to them. The phone rang. It was Satoshi-kun. He's never called me before. What happened? Does he want me to help him? If so, I will. I truly feel that way. Hello, Coach? Sorry to bother you while you're at work. Oh, don't worry. What can I do for you? I can't think of anyone else who has a car. A car? Sure, I have one. I'm in front of a toy store in Okinomiya. Not the one owned by Mion's uncle, but the other one by the dentist's office. Sure, I know where it is. I found a teddy bear for Satoko's birthday, but... It's too big to put on my bicycle. Too big? Satoshi-kun, how big is this teddy bear? How big is it? I guess he didn't think about it and went to the toy store on his bicycle. Now he's stuck. That's so typical of him. Can't help but smile warmly. In other words, he can't carry both the bicycle and the teddy bear, so he wants me to come pick him up. I told him I'd be right over and headed to the toy store in Okinomiya. When I got there, I found that the teddy bear he bought is a lot bigger than I imagined. Oh my! This is huge!
確かにこれじゃ自転車は無理でしょう。
There's no way you can put this on your bicycle, huh? The teddy bear is so big that Sachikun can hardly wrap his arms around it. If he puts it on his lap in the passenger seat, he won't be able to see anything. We loaded the bicycle in the back seat and stuffed the teddy bear in the trunk.
しかしこれだけの大きなぬいぐるみともなると高かったでしょう。
Boy, it must have been expensive.
ええ、
Uh,
まあそこそこね。
yeah, I guess. At first, I thought he was sweating because of the heat, but he's acting oddly, as if he has a high fever and his consciousness is coming and going.
どうしましたか？
What's wrong?
具合でも悪いんですか？
Are you feeling okay?
多分いえ、風邪です。
I guess, well, I think I have a cold.
それはよくありませんね。
That's not good.
診療所に寄っていきませんか？
Do you want to swing by the clinic?
具合を見てあげましょう。
I'll give you a checkup.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you. When he called earlier, he didn't sound this way. Did he become ill all of a sudden?
どうぞリクライニングを倒して楽にしてください。
Why don't you put the seat back?
冷房が強すぎませんか？
Is it too cold?
大丈夫ですか？
Are you okay? Oh my god. His face is turning pale. I can tell he has a high fever. Sachikun was pushing himself to buy this teddy bear. Teddy bear this size can't be that cheap. For him to earn enough money in such a short period of time, he must have worked hard and long hours. Maybe he felt relieved now that he got the teddy bear he had wanted to buy. Yeah, that he wanted to buy. It's not unusual for a person to collapse after reaching his big goal.
しかしよく頑張りましたね。
I'm proud of you
こんなにも大きなぬいぐるみを。
for earning enough money to buy such a huge teddy bear.
さとこちゃんきっと喜ぶと思いますよ。
Satoko-chan will be so happy.
喜んで欲しいです。
I hope so.
喜びますよ。
I'm sure she will be.
私が保証しちゃいます。
I guarantee it.
もうおばさんもいない。
Our aunt is gone.
おじさんも帰ってこない。
Our uncle isn't coming back.
もうこれでサトコをいじめる人はいないんですよね。
There's nobody who can hurt her in any way anymore, right?
そうですね。
That's right.
もうさとこちゃんをいじめる人はいません。
There won't be anyone who can hurt her.
だからこれからはゆっくりと過ごしていいんです。
So you can relax now.
おばさんはいないんですよね。
Our aunt is gone, right?
死んだんですもんね。
She died, right?
はい、
Yes,
確かに死にました。
she's dead.
検視には私も立ち会っています。
I performed the autopsy.
間違いありませんよ。
There could be no mistake.
だからもう二度とさとこちゃんをいじめたりはしません。
She'll never abuse Satoko-chan again.
本当に
Are you sure?
本当におばさんが死んでるのを確認したんですね。
Did you really confirm that she's dead?
はい、
Yes,
間違いなく。
I sure did.
じゃあたまに通りすがるおばさんにそっくりな人がいてもそれはおばさんじゃないんですよね。
So, even if I see someone who looks just like her, it's not her, right?
おばさんが実は生きてて退院してきたとかそういうんじゃないんですよね。
It's not like she was actually alive and recovered, right?
ええ、
No,
そんなことはありえません。
that's not possible.
二度と私たちの前に現れることはありませんよ。
She'll never come back to us.
じゃああの人あれもよく似てるけどおばさんじゃないんですよね。
Then, look, that lady, she looks like her, but That's not my aunt, right?
ですよね。
Right? Sachikun pointed at the oncoming car in fear. Of course, the car passed by so quickly that I couldn't see her face. But no matter how much she looks like her, it's impossible for her to be alive. Look! Look!
あの人も
Look at her!
あんなにそっくりでも
She looks
おばさ
exactly
んじゃ
like...
ないんですか。
she looks exactly like her.
だって僕を見ましたよ。
She even looked at me.
落ち着いてください、サトシ君。
Calm down, Sachi-kun.
おばさんは完全に死にました。
Your aunt is dead.
だからどんなに似ていても、それはおばさんではありません。
So no matter how much she looks like her, it's not your aunt.
似てる似てる。
But she looks just like her. Look.
いや違う。本当におばさんなんだ。おばさんがまだ
No, it must be her. That's my aunt. She's...
あんなに殺したのに、あんなに殴ったのに、なんで
She's... I killed her. I bashed her head in repeatedly. Why? Why? I can only try to stay calm and drive. Sachikun is losing his cool. He's delusional. He's seeing his aunt coming back from the dead. Then I finally realize Sachikun is displaying symptoms of the terminal stage. I knew to examine him once I get to the clinic. It's different from Satoko-chan's case. We already have the cure. We can treat Sachikun. If I talk to the mountain dogs, they'll take care of the murder of his aunt. So I can both save him from going terminal and give him back his peaceful days with Satoko-chan. He was deranged until just a minute ago, but now he's gone quiet. He didn't fall asleep. I must get to the clinic while Sachikun remains in this calm state. There's no guarantee that he won't attack me while I'm driving. As if he knows what is going through my mind, Sachikun spoke to me quietly.
監督、
Coach,
これってやっぱりお社様のたたりなんでしょうか。
is this the curse of Oishiro-sama?
たたりなんかありません。
There's no curse.
どうか気を強く持ってください。
Please, try to stay focused.
里子、ごめん。
Satoko. Sorry.
ぬいぐるみを買う直前まで僕はそのお金でどこか遠くに逃げてしまおうって思ってたんだ。
Until just before I bought the teddy bear, I was thinking about running away.
だからそんな僕をお社様は許さなかったんだ。
That's why.
だからそんな僕をお社様は許さなかったんだ。
Oishiro-sama got angry.
僕は兄失格なんだ。
I'm a failure as a big brother.
僕は
I'm...
無理に喋らなくていいですよ。
You don't need to say anything.
まぶたを閉じて休んでいてください。
Close your eyes and get some rest.
すぐに診療所に着きますからね。
We'll get to the clinic soon.
そうしたら具合のすぐ良くなる薬をあげますからね。
Then I'll give you some medicine, okay?
僕の血の中にもウジ虫が湧いてるのかな。
I feel like there are maggots in my blood.
かゆい。
It itches.
書かないで。
Don't scratch.
喉をかいてはいけません。
Don't claw at your throat. We arrived at the back door to the clinic. I slammed the brakes and stopped the car. Sachikun has already started to claw at his throat. I can't stop him by myself. I asked for some help through the intercom. Some staff members came out immediately. Maybe Sachikun was surprised to see so many people at once because he started to resist. I don't even need to run tests. He's at L5. He's reached the terminal stage and his thoughts must be filled with delusions. Maybe he thinks that the staff members want to kill him. The staff members pinned his arms and legs down and gave him a shot to put him to sleep.
けて。
Coach, please help me.
大丈夫ですよ。
Don't worry.
すぐに治療しますから、しばらくの間楽にしていてください。
I'll make you better, so please relax.
どく。
Coach!
サトコ。願い。
Please. Take care of Satoko. Please take care of Satoko. After saying those words, he fell unconscious.
あらあら、
My.
騒がしいと思ったら、これは何事ですの？
What's going on?
サトシ君が急性発症したようです。
Sachi-kun suddenly displayed symptoms.
彼の日頃のストレスを考えれば、いつ発症してもおかしくなかったでしょう。
Considering the amount of stress he's been under, it was just a matter of time.
いや、ぬいぐるみを買うまで自制心でそれをずっと抑え続けてきたに違いありません。
Or maybe he was holding it back until he brought the teddy bear.
なんだか毎年綿流しになると生きた検体が手に入りますわね。
It's interesting that somehow we always find a live specimen around Watanagashi.
これもお社様のたたりのおかげなのかしら。
Do you think it's the curse of Oishiro-sama? Takano, that's not the time. I don't have time to listen to her nonsense. That's exactly what I said. Takano, please. Please, Takano. I'm gonna write big Teddy bot. And then, Satoshi suffers from Hinamizawa syndrome. Ba 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 ba. Look at that, clean page, clean page, clean page, clean page. Roll of a 1. Preview of lots. What was... Mibra, the revenge of Takano is required. Big teddy bear is required. She needs moral support. Raw sea urchin. Vitamin A. Vitamin A. Game board. Game board must be set up. Fragment from the Watanagashi chapter required. Game board must be set up. I mean, if I was feeling bold, then I would go to Deja Vu here. But I never feel bold. What can I say? I'm just an unbold person. Preview of lots for sale. Oh, I like this music. I don't know what to do. My name is Ichiro Maibra, and I'm hopelessly lost. I came to Inamizawa on a tour to find a lot for a vacation home. When the realtor finished explaining some details, he told us to take a walk until the departure time. They gave him the dopey music. Such beautiful scenery and fresh air. I let my senses guide me, and here I am. Where am I? I still have a little time before the departure, but I'm completely lost. This is basically the middle of nowhere, but people actually do live here. If I keep walking, I should run into somebody. Then I can ask for directions. Don't worry. The only thing I need to keep in mind is the departure time for the bullet train. But the more time passes, the more I start to think I was being too optimistic about running into somebody. Because I can't find anybody at all. Maybe I'm walking farther and farther away from where people are, in which case I'm in serious trouble. So upon hearing someone's voice, I feel immensely relieved. Sounds like little girls are playing nearby. If it's a place where little kids can play, it must be a safe village. I followed those voices. Upon rounding the wild pampas grass? Pampas. I can see a beautiful field. 2 girls are playing there. They're dancing in the field filled with blooming wildflowers. What I'm seeing is more beautiful than all the great works of art I've ever seen put together. Alright, let's not be dramatic, sir. Maybe I'm exaggerating, yes, but this looks holier than any religious painting. Why is it that seeing innocent girls dance around like this makes people feel this way? He really needs to calm the fuck down. I don't need this nonsense from the dad, my bruh. It's probably because we're sinners. You can't live with pleasure and glory alone. We sin, even as we live. That's why we feel awed by the sight of innocence. Return innocence! It reminds us of the time when we were pure. We grow up naturally, and we lose innocence as we do. And we admire and adore the children who symbolize that which we've lost. Me.
とかなんとか小難しいことを言いながら変な不審者が僕たちをじっと見ていますのです。
There's a suspicious person who's mumbling some weird stuff over there. Rika, yes, this is what you've been taught. This is stranger danger. Run away from the weird man, please. Oh.
リカ、あれは不審者ではありませんのです。
Rika, that's not a suspicious person. Sorry, I'm not suspicious. That's exactly what a suspicious person says. It's like the first thing.
とか言いながら、僕のお胸やお足から目が離せないのです。
But you've been staring at my chest and legs. Oh god. Oh god. No! I don't like this one bit. Nipa! No, I'm not. Don't turn me in. I really wasn't staring. I was using this mirror to fix my hair. Ha 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 ha.
何言ってるかわかんないのですが、とっても面白いことを言っている気がしますのです。
I don't know what you're talking about, but it sure sounds interesting.
なんというか、血は争えないという気がしますです。
Like father, like son. The girls teased me for a while, and when they got tired of doing that, they went back to dancing around. Realizing that whatever I said would backfire, I decided to leave them alone and sat down to watch them play. Don't look at them. Don't perceive them. I wonder how old they are. They seem rather young, but maybe they could be close to Ketchi's age. If we move here, Ketchi might meet them at school. If we would see them at school, then they were girls that lived here. If all the children in Yamazawa are like them, then even if living a rural life may have some challenges, there's a good reason for us to move here. We're not very good parents. Oh, yeah, a truer statement has never been said. We didn't understand what Ketchi was going through and left him alone until the very end. According to the parenting book I bought, the first few problems are calls for help. It doesn't matter what the action itself is, but the fact that those actions are occurring is a primitive appeal from the child seeking communication. Humans can speak, and that's one of the reasons why we don't notice such signs. We can only hear words through our ears, and we can't sense the signs coming from our son's heart. Ketchi probably thinks it's all his fault. Of course, he's not absent of blame. Humans aren't dogs or cats. We should know what's right and what's wrong. But it's our fault too, as his parents. To let him think that he had to go through that for us to be able to understand him is really pathetic and disappointing of us. If we had understood him and hadn't cornered him, Ketchi wouldn't have done that. So the incidents weren't only Ketchi's fault. Everyone in the Maiber family was to blame. I want to explain that to him, but he's still too young and hot-headed to be able to understand. Right now, the guilt he's feeling is basically crushing him under its weight. He doesn't even have the will to live. My wife is the same. She's blaming herself for forcing him to study for better grades. She thinks that's why the incidents took place. And I'm no different. I'm blaming myself for not being involved in my son's education. I think that's why the incidents took place. The cross will be forever on our shoulders, even after the injured child accepts our apologies. Yet our cold society would tell us to die under the weight of that cross. Even so, we have to live. We have to accept our sins and carry our burdens on our shoulders. Maybe we can start a new life here in this village. Thought about all that as I watched the girls dance. Kechi needs friends like them. Friends like those girls will offer him so much more than the friends who only talked about cram schools and exam results. The girls are playing near a sign that doesn't fit into this open field. It's a sign about lots for sale, and the name of the realtor who brought me here for the tour is written on it. Does that mean we can live, even in this beautiful area if we want to? One of the girls spoke as if reading my mind.
ここはいい村なのですよ。
This is a wonderful village.
きっと都会にはなかったものがあるのです。
You will find lots of things you don't have in a big city. Yeah, that's right. I think so too.
でもこの村にないものをきっと都会のあなたが持ってきてくれる気がするのです。
But I think you'll bring some things from the city to this village that we don't have. Do we have anything?
ありますのですよ。
Sure you do.
ああ、
Oh.
僕たちはこの村で何百年間もこうしています。
We've lived in this village for hundreds of years just like this.
そこには誰も訪れず何も起こりませんです。
Nobody comes to visit, and nothing happens.
だから何も起きないし何も変えられない。
And so, nothing ever changes. Isn't that what's good about this place?
何かを変わりたいと思うからこの村に来たのじゃないのですか？
Didn't you come here because you wanted to change something? Yeah, you're right about that.
僕たちも新しい人を迎えたい。
We want new people to come here too.
それは例えるなら水の流れ出ぬ沼の堰を破るようなもの。
It's like breaking the dam that keeps the swamp water from flowing out.
水は出入りがあるからこそ清水となる。
Water is purified by moving. If it stays motionless, then it's just a swamp.
確かにこの村は明治のついこの間まで沼の名前がついた村でしたのです。
In fact, this village used to be named after a swamp up until the Meiji era.
でもそれが変わり、ひなみ沢という地名に変わりましたのです。
But the name was changed to Hinamizawa.
沼の水は流れずよどむ。
The water in the swamp stagnates because it doesn't flow.
でも沢の水はよどまない。
But the water in the stream stays fresh.
それにね、あなたたちが教えてくれるのよ。
Besides, you all are the ones who will teach us that.
堰は破れるものだ。破るものだってね。
That dams can be broken, should be broken. Are they playing riddles with me? I have no idea what they're trying to say, but there's one thing I know. The villagers are waiting for new people to come here. They want to build a future with those newcomers. I looked at the sign behind the girls one more time, so that I would remember this place. I've already decided.
引っ越してくるのを待っていますですよ。
We'll be waiting for you to move here,
前原。
Maibra.
あ
Oh!
あ、いたいた。
There you are!
お客さん、
Sir!
こんな遠くまで行ったらダメですよ。
How did you get this far out? A raspy voice from the distance ended this innocent moment. It's his realtor. I guess he's been looking for me because I didn't return. Sorry about that. I got lost. I apologized while scratching my head. I turned around to look for the girls, but they weren't there anymore. Oh, it just disappeared. Alright, so preview of lots. My dad, my bruh, finds beautiful lot is a creep. Sees Hanyu and Rika. Easy. So, Dad Mybra finds a beautiful lot, is a creep, sees Hanyu and Rika. Jesus. It's been a long Saturday. Rin. You know, that very important character in Higurashi. Rin. So, this one's probably gonna be next for us. Dare I just, for experiment's sake, see if Deja Vu works? Because in a weird way, like I said, I assume these events happen prior to Myra coming into the... Kechi coming into the scene. So if I kind of wanted these four... it'd probably seem, like, cleaner if I kind of, like... So if we leave Kechi out of it, I think it would be Deja Vu, and then it goes from there, I think. Deja Vu, and then if we see a fever with Tomatake, then we go here. If Kazumi dies, then we go here. And if, I don't know, if Tomatake makes some kind of promise, those would what we'd be looking at. I'm gonna try it. Also, this might be the last one we read tonight. I know this might be upsetting if I click this and it's not correct. There's a small chance, right? Before I click this, there's a small chance that the game really truly wants you to click Mybra's here, and then something here happens to then where you go on this path. Very possible. I might suffer my first strike tonight after we were doing so good, so easily. But out of curiosity's sake. I'm so drawn to just fucking up. You know what I mean? Like, there's like, it's like the very core, the fiber of my being is not at peace with itself unless I find somehow to make a mistake. It's like something in my body yearns to be wrong. And when that balance is not there and present, then like I feel off. So then it draws me into the bad choices. I can't help it. It's just it's a natural thing. Okay, so there's one, it's again one of two possibilities. Either it's not this one first and it is one of these. Very possible. Tomatake's promise. We haven't seen... And now it's been a while since we've had Tomatake in the picture of these fragments, so... But Kazumi has not died. We did not get explicit Kazumi dying. And I don't think we've had Tomatake with a fever. So it could be that generally I should have just gone here and then it goes back to one of these. Kechi Mybra. I'm going with this. This will be the last one we read tonight. Kechi Mybra. Austin loves to pick the wrong box. Oh, this piano, a little ditty.
これが学校なのかよ。
This is the school?
すげえな。さすが田舎だな。
Yeesh, this really is the sticks. Keiichi, don't say stuff like that. The people in this area love coming here. That was my first impression of the Hinamazawa branch school. No matter how I look at it, it doesn't look like a school at all. It even has a sign that says Hinamazawa Forestry Service. Such a piece of shit. Whoa!
まあ確かに
You're right.
我が校は営林署さんの敷地をお借りしておりますからの。
We're borrowing the building from the Forestry Service, said the man they called the principal as he laughed heartily.
学び屋は違っても学校であることは同じです。
Although it doesn't look like it, it is in fact a school. Also, why does her voice sound different? Has it just been that long since I've heard Chie's voice? Or is it because it's a better time and she's not constantly stressed by the things that were going on? she's fine. Okay, so yeah, although it doesn't look like it is in fact a school.
前原くんがこれまで通われていた学校とはいろいろルールが違うと思いますが。
Yeah, she sounds different to me. I truly, there's no way that they like, I mean, okay, I shouldn't say there's no way, right? There is a chance that like the VA gets replaced in between chapters, but it seems unlikely to me, and I think it's just I haven't heard Chie's voice in a while. And like I said, maybe she's happier at the moment. I'm gonna have to do a side-by-side comparison after stream. Alright, the rules may be a little different from the one you went to previously, though. Are you okay with that? Yes. I heard all the grades are put in the same classroom as at this school. I didn't believe it, but I think it really is true. They're all younger than I am, so I guess it'll be like kindergarten. Though, it'll be interesting compared to my previous school where everyone looked the same age.
前原くんが転校してきたら、男子の中では最年長になると思います。
If you transfer here, you'll be the oldest boy in the class.
ですので、自分の勉強だけでなく、下級生たちの模範になるよう示さなければなりません。
So you'll have to be a good role model for the younger students.
下級生は上級生の悪い癖をすぐに真似します。
The younger students have the tendency to copy bad habits from the older ones.
先生もそこは厳しく注意していますから、前原くんも下級生に悪い影響を与えないよう常に襟を正していてくださいね。
I'll be keeping my eyes on you too, so make sure you're aware of that, okay?
わかりました。
I understand.
努力します。
I'll do my best. Keiichi, what she means is that textbooks aren't the only things you'll learn from. As a member of the class and also as an older student, you have to be a good example. I know that already. After that, Chie-sensei brought us to an empty classroom and showed me where my desk would be. Since we're all still growing, I'm sure our sizes are very different. There are some desks that are way too small for me to even put my legs under, and also some that are just perfect for me. There are approximately 30 desks in here, but since all the different grades are in the same room, I'm sure it's very lively. There's also a wall full of calligraphy and art from different grades. It's all pretty exciting, nothing like my previous school. It reminds me of the days when I truly enjoyed my school life.
父さん、
Dad,
俺気に入ったよ。
I like it here.
やっぱり町の学校よりこっちの学校の方がいいや。
I like the school better than the other one in the town. I think my son likes it here. I want him to go to this school too.
そうですか。
I see.
沖宮の学校の方が設備もちゃんとしていますし、立派な先生方もたくさんおられますのに。
The school in Okinomiya has more resources and better teachers, though. Even while saying that, Chie-sensei looked happy to hear that a new student would be transferring into her class. My father and the teachers went back to the teacher's office to get the transfer process going. In the meantime, I decided to stay in the classroom and look around. I didn't care about the move. I'd lost the will to live because of what I did. I didn't have any willpower and I couldn't even get out of bed. So when my parents told me about the move, I thought that wouldn't change anything. But after the move, something did change. I want to restart my life. I want to restart my life and become someone I've always wanted to be. Here in Hinamazawa and at the school, I can do that. I'm not going back to who I was. I'll never again think that good grades are the most important thing in this world. I have a feeling that I can learn the things that are really important in life here at this school. I never had the chance to learn them before now. It's almost embarrassing to put into words, but they're extremely valuable things, and if you don't learn them, you won't become a decent adult. The students at this school learned from them a long time ago. To them, they're a given. Yet, I have to spend some time learning about them even at this age. How to make friends, how to play with friends, to play, things you can only learn from play, things like socializing with others, etc., etc. It seems so easy, but it'll take me a while to learn them. I pushed those things aside and devoted myself to studying. I'm not trying to say studying isn't important, but you shouldn't become blinded by it. If someone says studying and good grades are the most important things in life, he's talking bullshit. So, I can restart my life here at this school. Sorry, that line got me. Finally, I could become someone I've always wanted to be. I noticed two girls looking in at me through the window. The schoolyard must be a playground for these children, because I saw a lot of them playing there earlier. I guess those two noticed me walking around the classroom and became curious. I guess that's natural. I'm a stranger to them. Should I say hello and let them know that I'm starting school next Monday? Finally! We've been waiting for so long. Ow, ow, ow! This'll change things. Because Kechi is the 6 on the die. Yes, he is, but his die rolls a 1 far too often. Ow, 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 that's not Kechi's fault though. It's all your fault, Hanyu. It's because of you. Apologize to Kechi. Ow, 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 ow. Do you know my name? She said my name, didn't she? Did I hear her wrong? I've never met her before. Nippa! Are you a new student? Nice to meet you. I'm Kechi Maibara. I'm starting next Monday. Take care of me, okay? Ow, 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 ow. Sure thing. Here's a message for you, Kechi, from the Shrine Maiden of the Furude Shrine. On your first day, be careful when you come through the door to the classroom. Also, there will be a thumbtack on the back of your chair. There will be a toy frog in your desk too. But even with this warning, you fall for it again and again. Your Monday is going to be disastrous. Poor Kechi. That's why it's fun. Why don't you try overcoming that fate sometime? You'll be the one to teach us that. In one of the many worlds, right? Huh? The fuck are you talking about? Huh? I'll be reminded of the prophecy made by the two girls next Monday because of the actions of a snaggle-toothed girl. I'll realize it too late though, but I like it here. My name is Kechi Maibara. This is my new beginning, and this time, I'm going to enjoy it to the fullest. I've been missing out on so much, but I'm going to learn all these things here. I'm going to absorb all of it, and I'll become someone I've always wanted to become. It may take a very long time, but I'll definitely do it. Great. Keiichi checks the school out. And then Hanyu and Rika greet him. Tell him, well, they don't really tell him, they say it kind of out loud, but I already wrote it. So tell him he will change their fate. Basically. And then we did not get any explicit things that seem to point to any of these last 4 here on this side. So either I missed something, and it is going to be like this. Did Tomotage have a slight fever? Death of Kazumi. We didn't get a death, though. It didn't. The closest one I would think is a roll of a 1. Because we saw the draft and emergency manual. We had the bottle of wine long ago. Jiro Tomotake's promise. He must have said, like... there must have been almost a throwaway line at some point where he was like, yeah, I promise fucking... I will fund this thing and I will help you guys and I will succumb to fucking Takano someday and die a dishonorable death. I think it would be like a roll of 1. The only other option then, right, would be like... I mean, maybe we go June 1983. Keiichi Maibara changed schools just now. And the revenge of Mio Takano. I mean... a raw seed and vitamin A. I mean... Dare I want to just try a roll of 1? I know I said the last one was going to be the last one I read, but... like, I'm so curious. I mean, there's a strong part of me that's like, damn, we can just do this. But, and not just because it's on this page with all these other ones, but there's a part of me that wants to just know if I'm supposed to move there or not. Like, I'm willing to take, what, 2 more strikes against myself here? Because, honestly, who's counting other than myself? But we tried this, and we tried this. Death of Kazumi, I swear did not happen yet. Last thing we saw about Kazumi is he was talking on the phone with her. He was on the telephono. Did Tomotake have a slight fever at some point? Oh! Oh, the game crashed. What? Oh. There we go. Yep. Let's see. Can I see anything in this crash report? Oh, man. That's actually very funny. That might be how the stream ends right now tonight. I'll try one more time. Now I'm just scared. I'm gonna try... Oh, could you imagine if the game's corrupted to a point where I can't watch a scene? Do you know how hard I would cry? Good thing I saved, too. Jesus. Oh, why did it just crash like that? Why would you do such a thing? I just clicked on a fucking... Which one did I click? It was this one, right? Oh, it is that one. Do I want to read it? I'll read it. We already clicked it. Although, I mean, the ending to the stream would be funnier if it was just on the crash. But I mean, actually, there was a moment of panic after the crash where I'm like, oh god, what if someone is just... Alright, let's just read this. When did the fever to Tomotachi... You know what? I'm not even going to ask, because it must have happened, right? It's not that the game fucked up. I fucked up. He must have had a fever at some point, you know? Poor baby Tomotachi. Probably did a little couple sneezes or something. It's literally like, it's like flashback. My world becomes gray, black and white, you know, and it's like one scene, one line where like Tomotachi like sneezes. Oh, there's a slight fever or something or whatever. Oh, he's got a cold. Let's just read this one. Takano-san always comes along with me whenever I go take pictures on a stroll. She might have discovered the joy of cameras, and I'm happy to gain a friend who shares the same hobby. Was it back when they were like... Was it raining? Was it raining? I remember the raining scene, but he didn't get sick during that, did he? Or was it alluded that he was getting sick, or she was sick, or... It's probably what it was, wasn't it? But I mean... I don't know. I'm not gonna dwell on it. She might have discovered the joy of cameras, and I'm happy to gain a friend who shares the same hobby. However, there's actually something else she's much more interested in. That would be the history of Hinamizawa. She frequently visits libraries and local archives to read through various documents and books, and when it comes to Hinamizawa, she's gained quite extensive knowledge of the local history. When she's in a good mood, she tells me about things like how Hinamizawa used to be called Onigafuchi Village, and how the villagers there used to perform various cruel ceremonies based around the worship of Oishiro-sama. It seems she loved tales of violence, and that actually gave her a mysterious charm. On the other hand, I don't do too well with grotesque things, so I can hardly say anything in response. The stories of cruel ceremonies that she gets excited about, I don't really get them all that well. However, with the way her eyes light up when she talks, I don't mind spending time with her even if I have to hear about cruel things. You sure like looking into that stuff, don't you? Sure. Sure, it's fun. It's thrilling to unravel a dark past that has been sealed away. Don't you think so? Takano-san smiled in a way that almost made it sound like a dark past is something fun. But, of course, it isn't. The dark history of Hinamizawa that she loves is something cruel and atrocious, like the witch hunts in the Middle Ages. Besides, they helped me in researching Hinamizawa syndrome. You don't have to always look through microscopes to research things. Sometimes the traditions of this village that I've spent so long with the parasite can teach us things that are far more valuable. That's true. Boy, you sure are passionate about this.
だって研究こそ私のライフワークだもの。未知の神秘に踏み込み、誰も知らなかった秘密を暴くことってとっても楽しいことだとは思わない？知的好奇心をうずうずさせてくれる。
Hehe. That's because research gives my life meaning. To step into the unknown and to uncover a secret that nobody else knows. Don't you think that's wonderful? It tickles my intellectual curiosity.
それは多分考えることに悦を感じることができる人間だけに許された最高の娯楽だと思うの。
That's probably the greatest entertainment available to humans who can feel joy from just thinking.
この研究の第一人者だった高野先生もひなみ沢症候群の研究に生涯を捧げるだけの何かを見出し、その魅力に取りつかれていたに違いないでしょうね。
The first person to work on this, Dr. Takano, must have discovered something fascinating enough to make him devote his entire life to the researching of the syndrome too.
多分私だけがそんな高野先生の気持ちを理解してると思うの。研究者でない二郎さんには難しいかしら。
I think I'm probably the only one who could understand his feelings. Suppose it would be too difficult for you, Jiro-san, since you're not a researcher. You dumb piece of shit. She always seems so enthusiastic every time she talks about the late Dr. Takano, an independent researcher who was the first person to discover the existence of the syndrome. There has to be something more than just her admiration as a researcher. Come to think of it, Dr. Takano's full name was Hifumi Takano. Takano-san's full name is Mio Takano. Wait, he's just now putting that together. God, Toмотake, you're not passing the dumb allegations. Not only are the last names pronounced the same, maybe it might. I'll give it a bit of credit. It might not be as obvious in the translation, or maybe it's more obvious in the translation. Maybe I'm saying, if that makes sense. I don't know if that's exactly how it would work, but whatever. Not only are their last names pronounced the same, but their first names follow a similar pattern. They must be connected somehow. I don't know anything about Takano-san's personal history, but there's a good chance that her name is an alias. So it's very possible she chose a name to reflect the researcher she admires.
なるほど。ひょっとして高野さんはだからミオという名前なのかい？
I see. So is that why you chose that name? What?
いや、高野さんが尊敬しているその先生の名前が確か高野ひふみ。
Well, the name of the researcher you look up to is Hifumi Takano, right?
そして高野さんの名前がミオ。1、2、3の後を引き継いで3、4。
And your
彼
name...
が成し遂げられなかった研究を引き継いだからそういう名前なのかなって思ってね。
And your name is Mio. In Japanese, it's like you're counting upwards. You're continuing the research he wasn't able to complete, so I thought maybe that's why you have that name.
それを誰かに聞いたの？
Who told you that?
いや、今僕が適当に考えただけなんだよ。別に誰かが言ってたわけじゃ。
No. I just thought of that now. I didn't hear from anybody.
正解よ。鈍い二郎さんにしてはよくわかったわね。
You're correct. I'm surprised you figured it out since you're so dense.
いや、高野さんがその高野先生をとても尊敬しているのは知ってたし、まるで自分が実の娘か孫で研究の正当な後継者だというような感じで言っていることがあったからね。
I know you admire Dr. Takano, and sometimes you've spoken as if you were his daughter or granddaughter who had inherited his research legitimately.
なんとなくそんな気がしただけなんだよ。
That's why I said that.
作家のペンネームだってほら、尊敬する作家のオマージュで名前をつけることもあるし。
Even authors like Rampo Edogawa use their pen names as homages towards authors they admired as well.
なら、高野美代って名前もペンネームみたいなものなのかなって思って。
So I thought maybe that name you use is like your pen name, you know?
そんなことはないわよ。高野美代は本名よ。もっとも高野の高は鳥の高じゃなくて高い低いの高が正しいけれど。
No, that's not so. Mio Takano is my real name. You write my family name differently, though.
え？じゃあ高野先生とは本当は同じ名字なのかい？そりゃますますびっくりだね。
What a bold-faced lie.
美代が本名とは高野ひふみの研究を高野美代が継ぐ。
Eh.
なんだか運命的偶然を感じるね。
And it really is the exact same family name as Dr. Takano? That's even more of a surprise. And Mio is your real name, too. Mio Takano continuing Hifumi Takano's life's work. What a fateful coincidence.
二郎さんたら運命的だなんて大げさな。別に運命でも何でもないのよ。だって私の祖父だもの。
You're overstating it, Jiro-san. This isn't fate of any kind. He's my grandfather.
Eh?
What? This is news to me. I heard Takano-san discovered documents about the Hinamazawa syndrome left by Dr. Takano after his death and decided to continue his research. I've never heard of them being related before.
祖父の研究を引き継ぐために予算をというと、まるで身内びいきのために予算を引っ張ろうとしているように見えて、印象が良くないというふうに助言をしてくれる人がいたので、高の一文字を変えたからなの。
Someone told me I'd leave a bad impression if I asked for money to continue my grandfather's research. People may think I'm trying to pull funds for a family matter. That's why I changed one of the characters in my last name.
だから人前で高野先生が私の祖父だと話したのは、小泉のおじいちゃんを除いたら二郎さんを含めて他にいるかどうかという話よ。
So other than Uncle Kazumi, you're the first person I've told this to.
そうだったのかい。なるほどね。君がひなみ沢症候群の研究に入江所長も驚くほどの情熱を見せる理由がちょっとだけ分かったよ。
I see. I didn't know. So that's why you're so passionate about all this. I understand very clearly now. She really did inherit the work her grandfather was unable to complete.
祖父も医学的見地からだけでなく、古文書などの文献からもひなみ沢症候群を探っていたの。
My grandfather researched Hinamazawa syndrome not only from a medical point of view, but through old documents and literature as well.
ひなみ沢症候群と何百年にもわたって共にあった村の文献を調べることは、何百倍もの倍率を持つ顕微鏡を除くより価値があり得るというのは、祖父が私に教えてくれたことなの。
Looking through the old stories of a village that has been living with the syndrome for hundreds of years can be far more valuable than looking through microscopes that magnify things hundreds of times. My grandfather taught me that.
なるほどね。だとしたら自分の完成できなかった研究をこれだけ立派に引き継いでくれたおじいさんはきっと喜んでいるだろうね。こんなに熱心な孫に引き継げてとても嬉しいはずさ。
I see. I'm sure your grandfather is happy that you're finishing the work he couldn't. I bet he's really proud of you.
そうだといいわね。
He. I hope so. I said something Takano-san would normally tease me about, but she didn't. She nodded and smiled. There's no mistake. She is indeed the granddaughter of Dr. Takano.
祖父がひふみで1、2、3。私はミオで3、4。
My grandfather is Hifumi, which means 1, 2, 3, and I'm Mio, which means 3, 4.
私は祖父を継ぎ、ようやく3を共に数えたに過ぎない。そして祖父の次の4を数え、
Fun with
私の
numbers.
祖父もまだ見ぬ5へ至らなければならない。それが私の使命であり、生まれてきた理由でもある。
Following after my grandfather, we have only counted the 3 together, and counted the 4 after my grandfather. We must reach the 5 that neither me nor my grandfather have seen yet. It is my duty and the reason I was born.
それでミオという名前なんだね。素敵な名前だと思うよ。
So that's why your name is Mio, huh? I think that's a beautiful name.
ありがとう。私が孫だという話は内緒にしてほしいの。クライアントの人たちにも言っていないから。耳に入って痛くもない腹を探られたくないので。
Thank you. But please keep the granddaughter issue to yourself. My clients don't even know, and I don't want any unnecessary problems from them finding out about it.
うん、分かったよ。これは僕と高野さんの秘密ということで。
Ah, sure. Okay. This is a secret between you and me, huh? Although it's only a small secret, it feels good to think that I'm the only one who knows about it.
私はようやく3を数えただけ。まだ4にすら至っていない。研究の道のりはまだまだ険しく長いけれど、私は最後までやり抜くわ。必ずひなみ沢症候群の秘密を暴く。
I've only counted to 3. I haven't even reached 4 yet. The path before me is long and rough, but I will do it. We'll expose the secrets of Inamazawa syndrome.
僕もそれを応援するよ。もともとそれが僕の役割だしね。
I'll support you. That's my job in the first place, isn't it?
もうそういう余計なことを言わなければ十分かっこいいのに。一言応援するって言ってくれればいいのよ。
Jeez. You'd sound pretty cool if you didn't tack on things like that. You only need to say that you'll support me, you know?
するよ。君を応援する。
Okay, I'll support you.
二度言い直してもダメね。一回で言えなくちゃかっこよくはならないわね。
He. Oh wait, no, it's too late. You're not cool if you can't get it right the first time. He. I don't know why I read that end of the sentence verse there. We laughed cheerfully together. I started writing down the notes, and then I'm looking back up at the monitor, and that's why I got confused. Easily confused when I don't have object permanence. And after we finished laughing, she became serious again and spoke as if to drive the point home.
だからジローさん、くれぐれも
I think this is the promise we're looking for.
言わないようにね。
So remember, Jiro-san, don't tell anybody that I'm his granddaughter, okay?
言わないよ。約束する。
Yeah, there we go. Okay, I promise.
孫だからいけないということはないけれど、クライアントがそれを知って不快に思ったら予算を切られるようなことがあるかもしれない。
It's not a bad thing, but I don't want the clients to cut our funding because of that.
そんなことはないと思うよ。第一、僕は喋らないしね。
I don't think they will. Besides, I won't tell a soul.
絶対よ。本当に絶対よ。
Are you sure? Are you really sure?
私はこの研究のために命をもらったの。祖父の研究を完成させることだけが私の使命。
This research is the entire purpose of my life. My mission is to complete my grandfather's work.
踏みにじられた研究が世界を驚かす偉大なものであったことを証明し、土の下で朽ちる祖父をたたえさせ、神に昇華させること。それだけが私の生きる理由であり目的なの。ジローさん。
To prove that his trampled research is actually something amazing that will shock the world and to make everyone praise my grandfather who's perishing away under the earth, eventually having him ascend as a god. That's the meaning and purpose of my life, Jiro-san.
もしそれを邪魔するような不用意な言葉をあなたがうっかり漏らして研究に支障が出たならば。
If you say something that creates problems for my research.
大丈夫だよ。ここで聞いた話は忘れるよ。
Tomotake, this is where, like, I don't even care how good and freaky she might be in bed or whatever the fuck, or whatever reason you're staying with her. This is the point where you need to, like, run. When she starts saying stuff like this, and she basically threatens you if you, like, this was his out. This was his chance. But he's blinded. Oh, God. He says, don't worry. I'll forget everything you told me here.
本当さ。いや、絶対に後悔しない。
Really, I mean it. I won't say anything.
僕は約束は守るよ。
I promise.
絶対に言わない。
I won't say anything.
絶対よ。ジローさん。
Are you sure? Jiro-san? I sensed something frightening within her for a moment. Afraid that she would end up possessed by it, I swore to keep the promise. Her intellectual curiosity as a researcher and her conviction to complete her grandfather's work are what stirs her passion for researching Hinamizawa syndrome. I think there's one more reason, but it's far too deep, and it's within a wound in her heart that someone like me should never touch. But earlier, she said, if you create problems for my research. I wonder what she wanted to say after that. Can't help thinking she wanted to say something terrifyingly merciless. I kept my promise with her, and we never talked about the issue again after that. It's gonna be a yikes for me, dog. Well, it's nothing we didn't know. She's driven. She's determined. Two admirable sort of qualities for someone to have, right? Yeah, I forgot what this one was called. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Something. Why am I so musical tonight? Perfect. Okay, so that's the promise we are looking for. So that's gonna be here, right? Jiro Tomatake's promise. So a roll of 1 is gonna be next. And then we go from there. So a roll for 1, and then it's gonna be one of these two, right? I'm gonna guess probably disappointment and then deja vu, and then we can go here. And I think we start in on those. Look at that. I think we did a lot of good work tonight. A lot of good work, even though I did a 2 for night, you know what I mean? Split the load. Let's look at the week ahead, sort of. I know we've got holiday coming up here, so it's gonna be kind of weird, potentially. Tomorrow's Sunday. I think we're just gonna do a bunch of Cyberpunk. Really try hard. I really want to try to finish all that stuff in the game before the end of the month, and we're cutting it very close. We technically only have 1 more week. Monday, then, depending on how much we do in Cyberpunk, if we do a good amount, then Monday we can bounce back to either a Crash Bash if we're feeling crazy, or do a second stream of Fury, which was really fun when we checked it out the other night. Tuesday then will be more Higurashi. And then Wednesday, I'm thinking I'm doing a friend Thanksgiving thing. So Wednesday also is my last day of work for that week. Obviously, we get Thanksgiving off. It's pretty standard. And then that kicks off me having another stretch of days just completely off at work, which is really nice. So, but that's all to say, getting a little ahead. Wednesday, probably no streams. So, Thursday, I don't know. I don't think I have any plans commitment-wise, like, in real life on Thursday, actual proper Thanksgiving Day. I don't know if I'm just going to want to take the day. You know, I probably, especially if I'm going to be off, you know, and I don't have any plans, I'm probably, you know, wouldn't mind doing something at some point on Thursday, but we'll see. And then Friday, yeah. Friday is going to be, again, take stock of where we're at with Cyberpunk for sure, especially. Because it might come to the point where then it's like, all right, Friday especially is like wrap Cyberpunk up. I mean, if we put in massive work, Cyberpunk might be like finale stream Friday. Now that I think about it, which would be big. And then that'd bring us to Saturday, a week from today, more Higurashi. So that's kind of the week ahead. Like I said, week's gonna be kind of weird. due to holiday and stuff. And normally I do friend things every week on Thursdays. That's why I generally don't stream on Thursday after work. But that's being pushed to Wednesday, and I'm doing some stuff with them because of holiday stuff. Obviously, a lot of people in my friend group then doing actual Thanksgiving activities, so that just makes sense. Thanks so much for watching. Again, I'm very much not glad I'm not having to panic about the crash, because again, for a good few seconds I was like, oh, what if like for some reason it's so bugged that it's like like what would I do if I just couldn't read a fragment? Because then the game would never think that I completed the fragment, and then I might not be able to move on. What I'd have to do is probably like load back a save from a long time ago, and then just click through a bunch of them. A bunch of the fragments to see what the issue is. Or try to not replicate the issue. Right? Alright. That's gonna be it. Like I said, I should be on at some point tomorrow. I don't know when I'm gonna start. I first have to wake up, and I have to do a couple things to kind of get my life prepped for the forthcoming week, even though it's gonna be a short week for me, but we'll see. Yeah, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Take it easy. I know holidays coming up, so I hope you have a great holidays coming up. I think this video will probably pop up on YouTube like either the day before or the day of holiday. So if that's the case, if you booted this up on holiday, you're like you're dedicated, and there's, I don't know, people making food, traditional Thanksgiving dishes. Maybe your uncle is watching football on the television or something, and then this video pops up, publishes on YouTube, and you're like, oh, a new bubmanXIV stream VOD. That's what I'm doing first thing holiday. Then you're a real one. That's all I have to say about that. Alright, until tomorrow at some point, assuming. Take it easy.